Good morning, folks, and happy election day. I hope you all either got a chance to vote or currently have a plan to vote. I'm your host, Ryan Faloona, and I am here with Benzinga's new show, Benzinga Market Edge. Just to address right off the top, I know a lot of you, if not all of you, are here for Joel and Dennis from Pre-Market Prep. As it turns out, yesterday, Joel and Dennis have decided to go their own way. It was a surprise to me. I'm still kind of dealing with it. They asked if I'd come on and do the show, and I said, of course, I would do the show for our community. So I don't really have all of the details. I did speak with Dennis last night. Dennis was very, very courteous with me. No hard feelings or anything like that. So if you're expecting to see Joel and Dennis, they're going to do their pre-market prep show that they've worked on for so long on their own. And here on Benzinga, we're going to do Market Edge. So we're going to fill this time slot. And really what we want to do here is we want to try to create an hour that has more value for you. What is going to get you prepared for the market? What kind of information are you looking for? What do you want to talk about? What kind of guests do you want to see? So we're going to be looking to build all of that content around here. I know Dennis and Joel left huge shoes, which I'm not going to be able to fill, but I am going to try and do my own thing here and try and get you guys all of the information that you want. So again, I'm sorry about all that. I agree. It was a shock to me when all of that happened. I completely understand. I completely understand the surprise and all of that, but that's just kind of where we're at. So I actually hope, like I said, I know Dennis and Joel left on good terms, at least as far as I know. I actually hope to have them back at some point. So sorry for all of you guys that were expecting that. Like I said, Dennis and Joel are doing their own pre-market prep, but we're going to keep trying to do market show or a market show here. And like I said, the future of the content for today, for this show here in the 8 o'clock hour, is going to be, what do you want to help you prepare for the market day? So I'm curious to hear that. Great to see a whole bunch of you back here. Let's see. Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, James. Good morning, Carmen. I recognize a lot of you. Good morning, Darwin. Good morning, Martin. Take care of yourself. Okay. So like I said, great to have all of you here. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Right now, I'm the only person on this morning show, but we are looking to add more people and more content going forward. So Trader, as far as I know, everything is okay. Like I said, it was kind of a surprise to me as well, but I want to take you through the pre-market and get you ready for the market as best I can. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, the first thing that we want to talk about here is going to be the SPY. I want to see D's Nuts. I'm sorry, I don't know what their channel is yet. I don't have all of the details yet. If I did, I'd give them to you, but I don't have them. As far as I'm aware, AB went with them. So like I said, I want to be as open as I can about it. There's only so much information I have, and I'm giving you all of the information that I have. But let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY, and then let's take a look at some of the other stocks that reported earnings last night. I'd love to know what you folks are looking for here today. What kind of day do you think we're going to have given the event that's going on here today? So really kind of want to get everyone's opinion on all of that. Now, as far as the SPY goes here, we're currently sitting right at that 50-day moving average. And I got to be honest with you, I think there's something going to be completely different later on today. So we'll see where the SPY goes, and we'll see what that means for other stocks here. But right now, S&P futures just kind of holding about flat, up under 0.25%. And the SPY here, the daily chart anyway, sitting on the 50-day. Okay. It's okay. Purgatory Park, you don't have to be torn. Like I said, everyone is friends. Everyone is friends. So, okay, let's go ahead and dive in. I'd like to know, are there any tickers that you folks will want to see? Are there any stocks that you want to go over? Let me actually grab my list here. Okay. So let me know if there are any stocks that you folks want to go over. I'm going to go ahead and start with Palantir here. I know that this has kind of been a favorite for a lot of the community here. I know it's on our show on live trading. We've been trading Palantir quite a bit recently, and one of the recent theories we had here is a potential pullback. If you kind of zoom out here on the daily chart, giant kind of cup and handle pullback. Of course, Palantir reported earnings last night and did really, really well. Extremely good earnings, top and bottom line beat. They raised guidance. The company's CEO continues to get investors pumped, and no surprise, new high here today, 47 being printed here today post earnings. So I'm looking for Palantir here today. As far as a trade goes, I'm actually looking for both long and short here on Palantir. I wouldn't be shocked if there's some type of price discovery right out of the open. The stock maybe pulls back a little bit and inevitably goes higher. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here on Palantir. Again, earnings report, really, really good. This stock has been really, really hot. There's an AI angle with this stock that I think is really, really great. And Palantir here, I think that this is really going to set up for a move where it kind of comes back in, consolidates, finds a new price level, and then goes from there. So Palantir, definitely one to watch here after earnings. Congrats to any of you that were trading options on this name. We're trading it for the actual earnings print. Looks like we got a pretty outsized move here. I think the move using the options here was about 11%. Looks like we moved 14% here. So there we go. Let me know if there's anything else on Palantir that you want. Okay, A-Lab. You guys are looking at A-Lab. That was actually the next one on my list. Really good stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. A-Lab is, of course, Astera Labs. This one is another really good win here by the Benzinga community. There were a bunch of the community members that were talking about this around the IPO. And then on this recent run that we had from late summer into the fall, A-Lab actually paid pretty well, excuse me. I know that there were a lot of people in the Benzinga Pro day trading chat that were trading this, not just for day trades, but also for swing trades as well. So they also reported earnings last night. Top and bottom line beat, higher guidance, could hit all-time highs this week. You can see we're actually right under the all-time highs here, just shy of 90 on A-Lab. So let's see, who was this? This is BJ saying A-Lab up 20%. The question that I have here is, do we think A-Lab holds up 20% here? We're creating a pretty huge gap right beneath it. We actually have some room down here to the high 70s. I wouldn't be shocked if A-Lab kind of pulls back and handles it there, and holds it there. So we'll see if A-Lab can get that done. Are we going to see another sell-off around 11 a.m., says BJ? So that's a good question. Today, I think, is going to be a wild card kind of day. I actually wouldn't be surprised. I think you're going to see some pretty outsized moves in individual names, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was just kind of, quiet with the indices until we actually get some of the news. I know pretty much everything that I've seen on TV here today, I've got CNBC on now. Everything that I've seen here today seems to be about the election, and I would imagine that that's going to continue into the rest of the day. Alexa saying, we will support you, Ryan. Thanks for always being honest with us. You got it, Alexa. No problem at all. And like I said, everything came as a surprise to me as well. So believe me, I'm still in the shocked phase as well. All right. Let's see, what else did I have? I'm just going to run through the list, and then I kind of want to do ticker time with you folks. Cade Father, we will do Apple. Yes, absolutely. AB, Joel, and Dennis went to a MAGA rally. Now that would be news to me. I did not hear that. I would confirm that if I did, but I did not hear that. So, okay. So Apple on the list. We're going to cover some of the earnings in the new short report from yesterday. Apple on the list. We're also going to do Tesla. Okay. Absolutely amazing. I'm probably going to get this question a lot, so I might as well just answer it here. Taranti, AB, Dennis and Joel are breaking off and doing their own thing. They have their own pre-market prep channel. Okay, let's go ahead and keep rolling here. So the first two stocks, Palantir and A-Lab, I actually like both of them. I don't own A-Lab at all, and I'd like to get a position, but obviously I'm not going to chase it here. Palantir, I look to close out my butterfly, 100% profit plus here today. We've been selling that on the way up anyway, so that trade has actually worked out really well. Next on the list here is going to be Oxy, and this is an interesting one, right? So this is Warren Buffett owns a lot of this. In fact, if we click over to the insiders, we can actually see when Warren was buying here. It looks like the most recent buy here was from June this summer. And then I believe he was buying last year right around Christmas. Yeah, so right at the end of December of 2023 was the last ad there. And then prior to that, it was again in that same June, May quarter. Earlier. So Warren owns a lot of this. We were actually talking about this on Happy Hour last night. Thought here is that Warren probably knows some type of news. Warren probably knows some type of news that's not out there yet. That would be my guess here. He's definitely long. And then the other thing is given the election that's going off here today, or that's going on here today, perhaps if there is a Trump victory, the drill baby drill might be bullish for Oxy. So I'm not surprised to see Oxy kind of in play here. It's a longer term play. I don't necessarily think we're going to get maybe we'll get like a short-term election pop if that kind of goes with it. But long-term, I like this here. I think we can probably watch a Warren on this one. The only question that I have about Oxy is I'm just not sure if we're at the bottom yet. Looks pretty good here on support, pretty much going all the way back to 2022. And then if you look a little bit further, you can see that this was also kind of a supply area that we traded from. But honestly, I would feel even better about this if this came into a 40, maybe a mid 40 handle on Oxy. We're currently in a downtrend, so we really want to get this trend turned around as soon as possible. In fact, let me go ahead and mark this off on the chart while we're doing that. So it's this trend here. I'm actually going to go through the body here. This trend is really what we want to turn around. And the near-term bottom that Oxy makes is going to tell us if we're going to have the strength to get through this. So we'll see here if we can maybe go through that trend line. Next on the list is going to be VKTX. VKTX. Go ahead and take a look at that. All right. Now, VKTX, this is also an interesting one. VKTX, obviously, it's still in the semaglutide space. It's going to be in that weight loss space. But the other thing that's going on here with VKTX is this is still a potential takeover target. Again, we talked a lot about this recently. Catalyst over the weekend, which is actually going through November 6th. There's Obesity Week. That conference actually ends tomorrow, so it's still going on here. But the Catalyst over the weekend produced nearly $20 trade in the very early morning. So if we take a look at what took place yesterday, you can see this is where we kind of closed on Friday, and we actually had almost a full 20 points in the pre-market. Now, you had to be quick because we gave up this move up, and then we actually went lower in the regular session. It'll be interesting to see if we can bounce back here today. Again, going back to the daily, though, you can see we're actually at a support level. In fact, we're just above where the 100-day and the 200-day converge. So really want to see VKTX hold that level. The other thing to realize here is that that yellow line, that 50-day moving average, this could be a fairly quick recapture of that 50-day. That would be bullish too, especially if we shook out some of the weak hands here on VKTX. So like I said, conference is still ongoing here. It actually ends tomorrow. They did get some good news earlier, although it looks like that news got sold here on VKTX. Still a takeover target, so you got to be kind of patient with that. As far as a trade goes here, this is one of those things where you really want to be patient, add on support. If your time horizon and your risk profile is going to be extremely important for this. If you have a longer time horizon, perhaps you could be rewarded pretty significantly if the company is acquired. Okay, that takes care of VKTX. The future catalysts, including a further phase 2 and phase 3 trial, will make headlines, and that should give us some more ability to trade this as well. Next here is going to be PEX, and this one is going to be interesting. So we actually, as you can see, we got absolutely blasted yesterday. This is going to be the Hindenburg short report. Now, the last time Hindenburg was making some noise, had a short report on SMCI, and we all know how that ended up. That's actually still going on here. But this is PAX, ticker PACS. Another Hindenburg short report. This report is pretty damning. So first of all, if you actually want to go through the report, I'll go ahead and give it to you here. Let me go ahead and get that link posted real fast. Get my news feed to load here. Actually, we have the link to the actual report here in Pro. Sorry, I'm not there. We go. Let's go ahead and find that for you here. Here you go. So for any of you that want to kind of read this, maybe there's going to be a trade here. Here is your report from Hindenburg. Just to kind of summarize this for you, give you the TLDR here. The report indicates malignant use of COVID funds and tax fraud. It's expected to go lower, but better bearish trades might come after earnings. So the stock is actually set to report earnings in 2 days. That's going to be Thursday after hours. We'll see if they comment on the short report. We'll see if they address any of these things. And also, look, at this point, we got to see if they even have the earnings report. I know when they did the SMCI report, they delayed the actual earnings report there. So we'll see here if they do it on PAX, ticker PACS. I'm going to be watching this one today for a trade. I mean, if we take a look inside, take a look at what happened yesterday, you can see we sold off from like 42, came all the way in and printed 23. Stock nearly cut in half just on that report. And there was almost a 10-point bounce where the stock closed. So I expect more volatility today. If we take a look here, the craziest part about this, let me actually hide the volume so this is a little bit easier to see. On that sell-off, right when that report came out, we sold off right to the IPO price. This came from May earlier this year. So right down to the IPO price, PACS, what are we going to do today? All right, let me go through some of my notes here today real quick. Okay. All right. So first of all, did anyone trade any of these names, or did anyone have anything on these that we kind of wanted to go over? Let me see. Let me go through the chat here and see what we did here. So no, it doesn't look like you guys have anything on these. Okay. So let's keep going then. Again, these are definitely on my list here to trade today. We'll see if we get an opportunity with that. There's going to be a lot of back and forth here today, I would imagine, with the election. A lot of uncertainty in the market here. So, okay. The other thing that I want to do is I want to go through movers, and I want to roll through some of the news from this morning. I'm also personally waiting on an earnings report from Portillo's, good old Chicago great here. So we'll see if we end up getting that. Oh, I also wanted to talk about Tesla. You guys wanted to take a look at Tesla and Apple. Let's go ahead and do that too before we run into some of the movers here. Okay. Let's take a look at Apple. Here is your Apple chart. Now, Apple recently just gave up the 100-day. Good news here is that it doesn't look like we're breaking down, at least not yet anymore. We'll see what some of the news flow is here for Apple. And also let's see when they're actually scheduled to report their next earnings here. So they just reported, so it's not going to be till next year on Apple. And then as far as some of the recent news goes, the big thing here is going to be, how is Apple selling in China? How are their handsets doing in China? As far as a trade goes here, I actually feel like this is the safety trade. And given the election, given what's going on here and all of the uncertainty around the election, I also suspect that Apple's going to be more of a safety trade than something like an NVIDIA or a TSM. While those are going to be, great chips, I feel like there's going to be a lot of volatility there. And the other thing I think is that as more AI names come to market, you're actually going to see traders sell out of some of those names, funds as well. And the concentration should spread out and go to some of the other names. Apple, I think, is going to be a little bit insulated from that, meaning that if we see a drawdown across tech, I think Apple's probably going to be a safer place to go. Honestly, if this stock came anywhere near its 200-day, which is about 20 points lower here at about 200, I'd be looking at this for a trade. I'd probably load this up for a longer-term swing trade, in addition to just day trading it. C, saying Apple glasses will be as big as the Apple iPhone. Who agrees with this one? Because I'll be honest, I haven't seen enough from the Apple Vision Pro for me to be like, wow, that thing looks really awesome. They look strange. So see, I'd like to hear if you have experience actually using these, or maybe other goggles like the Meta Quest or something like that. I'd like to hear what the bull case is for that. The iPhone is just a complete juggernaut. It is a complete juggernaut. And for anything I'll tell you this, if any other device that Apple makes, one that they have or one that they haven't invented yet, becomes as big as the iPhone, this stock is a double from here. That is without a doubt. Stock Pigeon here saying zero chance it will be as big as the iPhone. That's what makes the market here. So I'm kind of on the same page here. I think that these two devices can really kind of feed off one another. That to me seems like where the play is. I'm just not sure anything's ever going to be bigger than a phone. I'm just not sure anything's going to be bigger than a phone. So, okay. Apple glasses might run into privacy regulation. That's interesting too. It depends a lot on what some of those features can do. Like I've been saying since these glasses started to proliferate, like I want it for silly things, right? I don't want it for invading privacy. I want to be able to track my shots on the golf course or be able to read a green or something like that. I also see applications where this could be helpful for driving, as crazy as that sounds. Just being able to kind of augment things on top of it. And there might be some type of port into a car there, but we'll see. That's down the road there. Good morning, Judge. Great to see you. Good morning. Stay focused. 100% on board. Appreciate you. Stay focused. That's one of the other things that I want to do going forward here. I want to bring in traders that have different types of trading angles, how they approach the market, different things that they look for, and let's kind of share the wealth there. So I'm going to be talking to you about some of that. Good stuff. C, they will basically be the same device, and the glasses will be the phone as well. So do you want to walk around wearing glasses all the time that do all of these other things like take pictures and make phone calls and all that? I'll tell you what, sometimes I like being able to stick that phone in my pocket. But I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure how I feel on those goggles. Travis saying the AR aspect seems really cool. I've seen more normal looking AR glasses that are more realistic to replace a phone. Using its nerve conducting wristband gesture control seems sick. So that to me, I also think is the next step here. It's not just going to be goggles, right? What other type of feedback are going to be able to connect to these things? The wristband gesture control, that seems like a really good idea. I could see them placing sensors elsewhere around the body as well. Okay. Apple, I think that does it. Do you guys have anything else on Apple? Let me know if there's anything else that you guys want to check out. The Crassy, the Ray-Bans made it to Oprah's best gift for the season. Well, we'll see how that goes. We'll see what the actual best gifts are this holiday season. We shall see. Thuy, you want to take a look at Tesla? Let's roll. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla. Tesla here really struggling on its near-term breakout. Really struggling on near-term breakout. This area right in here, this 270 area, Tesla's been trying to get over this for a while here in 2024 and has really kind of struggled. Now, I do think that there is one more move here in Tesla before the end of the year. I don't know if you're in the camp that the market might sell off after the election. Maybe the market might sell off next year. This is kind of the uncertainty that we're dealing with here today and the rest of this year. But to me, Tesla, I think, is going to be a little bit more volatile. Just with everything that Elon's doing, getting involved in politics now, it doesn't really matter which side you're on. Just the fact that he's becoming more and more involved, I think the headline risk is greater and greater here for Tesla. Looking at the chart, though, 270, 275. I think if we take those down, 300 here is next. I'd really like to see this break higher. I know that the thought here is that Tesla, this really just isn't a car company anymore. This is a tech company. Elon Musk did a surprise podcast with Joe Rogan last night, and they talked about some of the things here on Tesla. Actually, Joe Rogan asked him last night if he was going to do a phone. That, to me, in terms of products for Tesla, was the most interesting part of the whole thing. Asked him if he was going to do a phone last night, and his response was that we have enough, right? Like, they're doing things with the electric cars, they're doing things with the portable battery packs, they're doing things with the stationary battery packs like the Powerwall that you can install in your home. They also have integrations for solar and all of that stuff. So he kind of was joking and saying, we're kind of doing a lot as it is right now. But he did not say for sure he wouldn't do a phone. He said in order for Tesla to do a phone, there would have to be some change across the phone market as it is, meaning Apple or Android phones would have to be more restrictive with their app store or something like that. Basically, he would kind of treat the Tesla phone almost as a Twitter type thing, right? He bought Twitter in order to preserve free speech. Sounds like he would go the phone route in an effort to preserve privacy if things started to go off the rail. Wouldn't put it past him. I'd be interested in a Tesla phone myself, especially if some of those features came from Eric Prince's unplugged phone, which is going pretty well. So I think that could be a mover, but it did not sound like that is imminent at all here on Tesla. So I know we've kind of kicked that around quite a bit. In a lot of these shows here, we've kind of talked about a potential Tesla phone. Does not, according to Elon, does not seem like that's coming anytime soon, but would be interesting. Would you guys buy a Tesla phone? Would you guys actually use a Tesla phone? Or I guess using it is one thing. Would you switch ecosystems, whether you're on Samsung or Apple? Would you switch ecosystems to be on a Tesla phone? I'd be curious to know about that. I'd also be curious to know what other types of features a Tesla phone would have, how it would incorporate with the car and all of that, the robo-taxi, the whole 9 yards. So, okay, couple answers here. D, miscellaneous. No, you guys would not switch. Not at all. See, and that, to me, that's the big hurdle here. Even if they do release a phone, the features are going to be one thing. How the phone looks is going to be another. The camera is probably going to be the most talked about feature on the phone, to be quite honest with you. Maybe the data throughput or something like that. But really what this is going to come down to is how willing are people to switch ecosystems. And every time that I talk to an Apple user about this, they are very much like the chat is here. No. If you guys were pretty emphatically no. Looks like not at all. D saying not at all. No way. Ken saying no way. All my stuff is set up with Apple. So this is what I'm hearing from people. Pretty much across the board. They're not looking to change ecosystems. And the other thing about Apple is they really get you too, because if you get the phone and you get the computer and you get the earbuds, now you're really in that ecosystem. And now you're not just switching phone. You might also be switching other devices as well. So seems like an uphill battle. Seems like it would really need something there. Kind of reminds me, at least on the surface, of the Amazon Fire phone. Remember that? Remember when that came out? That didn't even last. That Android Fire phone, that didn't even last. I think Tesla would do a better job, but I'm just not sure of the staying power here. VJ saying, waiting for the Tesla phone so I can finally get a signal from Mars, or at least avoid buffering while watching cat videos from space. Definitely don't want to have those cat videos buffered. That would be a real shame. But the first part there, waiting for the Tesla phone so I can finally get a signal from Mars, that would also be interesting. The discussion about how Tesla would kind of link up with Starlink or sync with Starlink, all of that stuff would be very, very interesting to me. And I think that if you're able to get some type of satellite capability, that might be enough just for people to even add a second subscription. Travis saying, I am an Android user, but the LiDAR on the Apple phone is really interesting tech. Really interesting tech for an enthusiast. What do you use that for? What do you use that for? What do you use that the LiDAR for? I'd be curious to know. about that. Grouch of Wall Street saying it's too expensive to switch. This also seems to be the biggest thing, right? It's not, you're not just switching a phone. You're not just importing contacts. In some cases, you might be switching more than one piece of hardware. I agree. I'm with that too. And I'm like, even in my case, I have an Android phone. I don't really have anything else connected to the ecosystem outside of the earbuds and the watch. And those work with other phones. I don't really think it's the ecosystem. It's more the device capability that's keeping me in there. But anyway, as far as Tesla goes here for a trade, I actually expect Tesla to be volatile today. I wouldn't be shocked even if Tesla responds to some of the headlines that we get about early voting, exit polling, all that stuff, the whole 9 yards. Okay. Let's see, what else do you guys want to go through? Let's talk satellite phone services. That's kind of it. I have no experience with satellite phones. Doesn't Apple have a satellite capability right now? Pretty sure that people actually really kind of like that Apple satellite phone capability. Okay. Should have a guest coming on here pretty soon. Again, thanks for bearing with me here. Let me check and make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you, Funface. Always appreciate the support there. Ryan, did you see you can buy election contracts on Robinhood now? I did see that. I'll tell you what, if you had asked me a couple of months ago about this entire thing about Robinhood to 24-hour trading and kind of making the traditional markets go to 24-hour trading, I would not have believed you. But sure enough, some of the markets going to 24-hour trading here all seems to be a response from Robinhood. Robinhood has said, if you've listened to Vlad go on some of the interviews, he said he wants to make it like an all-purpose investing spot. So I'm not surprised, investing and trading. So I'm not surprised to see something as big as the election and betting on election contracts. I'm not surprised to see that work on Robinhood. Let me ask, has anyone used that functionality yet? Has anyone actually bought an election contract on Robinhood? I'd be curious to know what type of commission structure they have, payouts, the whole 9 yards. So that would really be interesting. The satellite phone always reminds me of Gordon Gekko on the beach in Wall Street, dude. So how many of you, let me get some ones in the chat. How many of you got interested in the stock market from the movie Wall Street? Might be dating myself here, but how many of you got interested in stocks because of Wall Street? I saw that movie and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. So let me know. Okay. And then let me know what other stocks you folks want to take a look at. Grouch of Wall Street, you were saying, morning, can we filter the earnings calendar by small caps? Sure. So if you're looking for small cap earnings here, we can absolutely do that. Let's go ahead and let's do it for this week here. And I think I also have a filter on here. Do I not? See what's going on with my calendar here. Come on. Let's remove the market cap filter here. All right. Grouch, not sure why. Oh, it looks like I had the wrong date in there. There we go. Here we go for Tuesday. Okay. So here you go. And then you also wanted to filter for small cap. So we can actually take a look here. Looks like we don't have a whole lot of market cap data in here. Was there a stock that you were looking for, Grouch, in particular? Sean Michaels is saying, Sean Michaels, hey, Ryan, good morning, brother. Because of you, I made 5K last week. Keep it rolling, Sean. Keep it rolling. That's a good way to close out the week. We got more coming here this week as well. So, all right, Grouch, sorry. Let me know if there was a particular stock that you're looking for here for earnings. I'd be curious to know. But it is still T3 Tuesday, so we're going to go to our guest, Christian. Let's welcome him on. Christian, how you doing this morning? You are muted, my man. The good old mute gremlin getting our friend here.
How about that? Is that better?
That sure is. Happens to the best of us. So let me ask you, how you doing here today?
Oh, I tell you what, I don't know about you and all your listeners, but pretty ready for this day to be over.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm Central Time here. It's 7:30 in the morning, and I too am kind of ready for the day to be over. Did you vote already? Did you get out there and vote?
No, I'm doing that this afternoon. I'm kind of fortunate where one of the fortunate, my kids are home today because the elementary where we vote is right behind our house. So I get to walk right across the street basically. And, but I got the kids home all day. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing that today. And really, I love voting and I love, the whole thing, but it's after a while, you're just ready for it to be ready for it to be done so we can get moving forward.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, it's the lead up to this that really gets me. I'm just trying to watch sports. I'm just trying to watch something on TV. Stop bombarding me. I'm with you. I walked over to my local polling place and got it done earlier today. So, all right. So given the election, given everything that's going on here, what are you watching this week? What's going on here with the markets?
Well, I tell you, probably first and foremost is the overall market, right? And you're kind of like me. You deal with and you work with probably a lot of students, a lot of members, a lot of attendees. And the election is the obvious question. Of course, we have FOMC on Thursday as well. So there's always those.
Let me stop you there. Do you have any expectations for that? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I always joke with the members of my calls and stuff like that is I kind of already know what's going to happen, whatever the market said. So one of the things I always like to do, and I started marking it like 3 years ago because I've been coaching for like 17 years, and there'd always be this big run up to the FOMC, and I'm like, well, if everybody looks, a lot of times the market kind of tells you what it's planning on doing. In other words, 90+% of the time, if the market was going higher, all it does on FOMC day is go higher. If it was going lower, if it broke a key level of support. And so 3 years ago, I just started marking them so everybody could see. I was like, I want you to see for yourself if the market is telling you something. Sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes we go into it. I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Could be a higher or lower. But a couple months back, the market the day before had broken resistance. I said, FOMC, FOMC, the market said it plans on going higher. So as long as that is there, so we'll see what we're looking at come Wednesday close, Thursday morning. But I would expect if we look at, let's say the last four elections that were not bear market associated, if we look at FOMCs, if we look at what's been going, if we look at overall trend right now, unless the market tells me something otherwise, I'd be expecting higher. Okay. However, there were some breakdowns last week. Now, me being a CMT and a technical analyst, a chart nerd, I'm looking at levels that have broken. I'm looking at patterns like the rising wedge. A lot of people are showing on X and such. A lot of these breakdowns make me wonder if there's a short-term move, like say, for example, back in 2012 after the election, there was a short-term move lower. But I would think overall, seasonally, this is a great time of year, especially an election year. I would expect ultimately this week resolves itself to the upside.
Okay, so I'm with you there, and honestly, the buy the dippers have really been strong all year. Pretty much all sell-offs have been met with the buyers, so I'm with you there. Now, you had mentioned the area that we're at here on the chart. Looking at the SPY here, we're sitting pretty much right at the 50-day. We've actually had two recent tests of this 50-day. We've not broken beneath it. You had mentioned your gut kind of tells you think we resolve higher. Do you think this holds and maybe sets up for new highs here in the SPY?
That's what I would expect when I look at historically what we have been able to expect. And notice how it didn't matter what party won. 212, right. 216, 2020. The market just simply moved higher. Now, in each one of those scenarios, the market took a little dip the week or two before. Right. So it's not what we're doing right now seems healthy. It seems normal. And it's why I have a little bit of a trust issue with some of the breakdowns that we've seen. And so, I would think that ultimately we're going to do what we normally do. However, one of the things that has concerned me as of late has been the VIX over the past couple of months.
Sure.
Now, I'm a huge keep it simple kind of person. So I don't ever claim to be a VIX expert. Okay. But if you look over the past couple of months, as the S&P has continued to hit these new highs, look at how the VIX is putting in these higher floors as it goes up, as the S&P goes up. as I tell my members, like, look, this could mean nothing, but I think back to, for example, 2007, the S&P kept hitting these new highs.
Mhm.
The VIX, you might remember the big Bear Stearns implosions were
Yep.
March
Oh, yeah.
2007, right? And then we had the 10 or 12% correction in the middle of the summer, and we went on to one more high. Well, the VIX kept putting in a higher floor each time, kind of telling us the market is getting more and more worried. And we know
Mhm.
how that worked out. The one thing that sticks in the back of my mind is how the VIX keeps doing that. And here recently, right? Here recently, we just hit these new highs. VIX took another floor step up. That being said, if you're just using 2007 as an example, that runway was about 8, 9 months long. So doesn't mean anything's imminent, but I do get a little bit curious about what happens after this great time of year.
Okay. As far as the VIX goes, this is also something that we kind of focus on pretty much every day. And are there any specific levels that you pay attention to? Like one of the levels we were discussing yesterday with the group is 20. And generally speaking, if the VIX is above 20, maybe there might be some more kind of volatility ahead. And when it drops below 20, traders are not as worried. Do you have any specific VIX levels that you follow or that you look out for on a regular basis?
Absolutely. Specifically when it comes correction time. Once we know we're knee deep in it, right? If
Mhm.
you look at historically across the VIX and you just draw a line basically across 50, right? You're going to see obviously the 87, you're going to see the 2008, and you're going to see the COVID. But notice how there are like 12 or 13 other corrections that the VIX stalled right around 50, right? And so that's one of the main things I look at. If we start getting into that type of sell-off mode where we now start seeing a 20 and a 30 VIX, I always warm my students and members up to think, okay, when we get close to 50, start paying attention a little bit. And if you're aggressive, if you're the kind of guy that likes it exciting, feel free to take a shot there, but start looking for potential VIX reversal around there or shortly after. Because even if you go back to that 1987 or that 2008 or 2020, when we shot clear up into the 80s and 90
Mhm.
on the VIX, that was the end, right? That was, that last spike. So I watch those higher areas specifically once we get out of the area of just a nice healthy pullback and we've moved more into correction mode.
Okay. Now, are you just trading some of these moves? Do you have kind of longer term positions that you either adjust or do maintenance on when you see just really kind of big changes in the market as signaled by the VIX?
Uh, I wouldn't go. Yes, I would go with yes in those moments where the VIX has told us something. So there's also another nice little market buy on the VIX when you combine it with a Bollinger Band. So there are these moments in time where yes, but if we're talking about day to day, week to week, the flagship service that I operate, which is the one we're doing the open house for next week,
Mhm.
we do keep it current week. So we're very flexible. We kind of do a lot of hedging and strangling throughout the week. I refer to it as kind of like playing a chess match against the market, right? So today we think this. If the market makes a move, then we'll adjust here. But then there are other services that one that I operate that is longer. So for example, we do have calls on the SPY going out to the end of the year because this is the time where we would expect from here on, if historically we do what we've normally done, and no matter what's happened in the last week or two, pan out a little bit. This is still a nice
Mhm.
big bull. We would expect to be moving higher. So for that, yes. And then if we have to adjust, if I have to hedge, then we'll make some decisions. But we do like to try to keep it as simple as possible. So right now, good old fashioned calls, expecting to run to 6K, probably higher by the end of the year.
Okay, real good stuff there. The other thing that I wanted to ask here, um, I, I I have to just because it's election week. Are there any individual names that you're kind of looking at if one side wins or another, or maybe if it doesn't matter who wins? Are there any plays that you're kind of looking for post election?
Absolutely. So to answer the question, not really as far as specifics. Now,
Mhm.
I do know, like, because I like to, like, hey, maybe this isn't my cup of tea, but for you, there's this. So, for example, I have members that like longer term plays. Hey, this looks like a good investment. It might not be for me, but here, this is for you. So, election time, I know, for example, one of the biggest if not the biggest sector rotation that I've ever seen on an election was when Donald Trump won in 2016. Okay, because I think the general consensus going in was that Clinton had this,
Yep.
And then when that didn't end up being the case, I have never seen a rotation like we saw that next morning into financials and industrials and these banks the next day. So
Were you watching the overnights? Because Forex was making moves that normally takes months for Forex to move. Futures were crazy. I remember that night. I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, I might trade this a little bit here. We'll see how this goes. And then everything started going haywire. I was like, yeah, I might want to wait. I might want to wait till the next day. And like you were saying, the rotation was crazy. So
yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget where I was because I was bowling that night. I was in a bowling league. We bowled on Tuesdays, and I was watching the futures, and they kind of started in the green, but then once votes started coming in and Florida went a certain direction, the market, a lot of people don't know, the market was down around 5% or so overnight, and a lot of it had worked its way back by the morning. But yeah, it was wild that as things were flying around. But that sector rotation, I do think those that are looking for longer term exposure, I think it matters to them. For us, mostly my wheelhouse is in that shorter time frame.
Mhm.
So I'm a huge, when I teach and, even the trading, and as I mean, a lot of times you're narrating as you do the trades, where I'm not concerned with the why. All that matters to me is that it is. So if stock X breaks above this level, like Apple's got a pretty good 52-week high now that is tested twice. If Apple takes that thing out, hey, look, doesn't matter to me why. If you want to say it's because so-and-so won or so-and-so, right? Look at that right across the top.
Yep. Right there. It stands out.
Yep. So I'm a huge fan of, look, and I don't mean this in absolutes, but the market doesn't care what you think. It certainly doesn't care how you feel. So just trade what you see. So if the market sends Apple above that breakout point, it doesn't necessarily matter to me. If you want to say it's because Trump won or because Harris won, cool. I'm here to make money, and the market's telling me Apple appears to be going higher, right? So that's typically how I handle it.
Yeah. Okay. That's real good. One of the things that I was saying earlier before you came on here is that Apple, as far as some of these bigger mega cap tech names, Apple actually kind of feels like the safety trade. So you just kind of on the back of the election and the uncertainty and all of that, Apple almost seems like one of the safer names to be in as opposed to something like Nvidia. Or something of that nature. One more question regarding the election. We've talked and how it applies to the market. We've talked a lot about how the market really likes certainty and it really doesn't like uncertainty. And I'm not necessarily concerned with which person wins or not. I think the market is going to survive. But are you at all worried about maybe not having results and the uncertainty being carried out through the rest of this week or maybe even into next week? Is that something that you're kind of planning for at all?
Not really, because I actually went and looked back because we've seen this show before, right? 4 years ago, we saw that kind of, after, kind of lingering for a few days, all the market did was go higher every day. Now, I'm also a huge, didn't like skyrocket, but it just kind of kept moving higher. But I'm also a huge proponent of the market knows more than any of us ever will, right? The market is my nude feed. So I always, I always say, hey, look, the market's never wrong, right? If the market goes higher, you can argue with it all you want. So I look at situations like that and say, look, I don't know that if I can explain why the market's moving higher with this uncertainty that we have right here. All I know is that the market is, and the market is telling us X. So same thing when I look at yield, same thing, 0% surprised that yields have been rising because the market has been saying it, right? If you looked at it and turned off the commentary. So I'm not too terribly worried about it. I do know that I probably would be more worried about the volatility that might surround Thursday with the FOMC than I might the election.
Okay, interesting. Really interesting take there. Okay, any stocks you really like you want to kind of close us out here with, or anything that you saw recently that you think is pretty interesting?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say that we do get the upside resolution, and we do need to be fair, right? I could look back at 2020, 2016, 2012, all I want. The market could decide this time, what, these warning signs I gave you last week, they meant something and we're going to decline. But let's say we just do what we've normally done and we move higher. Apple right here was one that we have on our radar that we're watching. We're watching again. If somebody just drew a line right across the top, we're watching that haircut. We're keeping an eye on Meta. If you look at Meta, pretty nice little short-term haircut it took at 600. We like these clean, important levels, these ones that the market has said multiple times, hey, this is a problem, this is a problem. We take these marks out, then for us, that's a relatively reliable sign of moving higher. We are watching some of the Chinese names that are kind of moving here pre-market. Futu was one that we really liked if it could regain 100. And this morning, it looks like that it might actually do that. But we'll see. It couldn't hold 100 yesterday. So there's a lot of these ones we're watching to see. And we tend to do a lot of the trading, for example, in our prime time service. We like to do a lot of our work in that 3:30 to 4, which is why we call it prime time. So, for example, we'll be watching Futu at the end of the day. If it looks like it's going to hold 100, we might look to go long there. But two of the bigger names that we're watching there that are on a lot of people's radar, Apple, that Meta in the 600, and then Tesla last week, right, shot up. And before it ever got there, we said, you better watch 270. You better watch 270. Look past a couple of years. It's pretty easy to see. You better watch 270. What'd the stock do? Hit 270, turn right back down. If we get a turnaround, I think everybody should be considering maybe some long exposure to Tesla if that thing takes out 270.
Okay, real good stuff. And actually, right before you got on here, I was also saying, hey, you better take a look at 270. That seems to be a pretty important level. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much for your time, Christian. Really appreciate it. Awesome job. T3 Tuesday. Good luck with the rest of the week. Good luck with the election. And I hope the polling place you go to just isn't too crowded for you.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Have a great one.
You as well. Take care. That is Christian Tharp from T3 Trading. We, of course, appreciate his time. Really good stuff there. And it certainly seems to be that we are looking at the correct things, right? Everyone is kind of waiting for the same thing here. I think his spot here on Tesla is really good. I'm actually... The more I think about this, the more I kind of wait. I'm actually waiting for Tesla to turn around. Even if it doesn't, even if it kind of turns around and looks like it's going to go through 270, I might kind of front run that trade. I think 300 as a high there, definitely within play. Okay, real good stuff. I wanted to do some ticker time here. Normally what we do on live trading, we're always trying to kind of scramble to go through the movers and we always run out of time. And now we're actually going to have some more time. So let's go ahead and do some of that ticker time as we wait for 13 to join us. Robert, we're going to kick it off with you. You're mentioning a couple here. You know what? I'm actually going to start with yin. Christian there was talking about some of the China trade that he has, that he's looking at there. This yin chart looks pretty much identical to BABA. And Futu, actually, the Futu trade, really interesting if that can get back to 100 here. But yin, this is going to be the bull ETF here. This thing's a wild mover, Robert. And honestly, I think that if you didn't want exposure to one individual name and exposure to just China as a basket, this is probably the way to do it. 3x leverage. This is going to give you some juice to the upside here. We'll see. You know, I'm curious to see if any of these Chinese stocks move with the election too, or as the election kind of, or as the results kind of shake out here. I know there's some back and forth about, you know, so-and-so would be better. Trump would be better for China, or Trump would be worse for China. It'll be interesting to see how the market prices that out. And much like Christian just said, market's never really wrong, right? Like it's telling us what the deal is there. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these Chinese stocks respond. Yin and yang, Robert, I know you've been trading these a lot recently. These have some pretty good juice. They move pretty well. Not sure how big the positions are that you can take these, as they can sometimes be kind of low volume, but these definitely in play here, and these do make really good day trading vehicles. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other stocks. Ken, I'm going to go to Amazon before I start going to some of the smaller stocks there that Robert was mentioning. Amazon, to me, the big thing here that's going on with Amazon, the Bezos wall. And if you were with us on live trading, what was this? Friday, you actually saw the Bezos wall in action. All right. In action. We were actually trading that as that wall was coming down. Now, we did punch through 200. We immediately came right back in. And if we take a look at the insiders tab, lo and behold, there were more sales up there. So that 200 wall, still intact. We'll see if we can actually break out through that 200 wall and go higher here. That might be in play, especially if the market trades up here. But that's basically it, man. The 200 wall at Amazon, that's going to tell the story here. I think that it's going to be such a big resistance level that if we're actually able to take that out and then back test it, that's going to set up as an extremely strong support. So we've already made our way through it a couple of times. We'll see if Amazon can punch through that here, and we'll see if the election is the catalyst that kind of takes us through that. Okay, let's go ahead and roll through some of these smaller stocks. We will go ahead and take a look at the movers as well. Appreciate you, Robert. I'm going to start off here with, you actually just go right down your list here. We're going to start with Zim. This has been another live trading favorite here. Zim has been just absolutely fantastic. When we were first trading this, it was right around 11 or 12 bucks. And it was really this type of breakout that we were looking for, right? It was this 15 area. You can see if we go back to the beginning of this year, we actually tried to punch through this a couple of times. And then once it backed off that spot, it gave us about a half year before we finally got that breakout. And that breakout allowed us to discover a new price area right above it. And now we find ourselves in almost the exact same type of situation. We have a potential breakout here on Zim. We have multiple tests. It actually looks like this level's a little not quite as clean as that 15. This actually looks like maybe 24 to 26 is that area here, but it sure looks like Zim's trying to break out of this. What I want to know here is, do we actually kind of back off this level like we did before, or do we end up going through this and then setting this as a new support level? Okay. 13 is in the back. 13, are you good to go? Thumbs up. We got a thumbs up. 13, good morning. How are you doing here today?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody this morning? You guys looking at Zim?
We are looking at Zim right now. We're doing pretty good. I'll be honest, 13, I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was doing push-ups in my room. Then I went and voted, and I got ready for the market here. So I'm about as fired up as it gets here today. We had Christian on from T3 Trading. That was awesome. Now we're kind of doing ticker time. And the cool thing here, 13, is we're going to have some more time to roll through these tickers so we can kind of go through that. Zim is where I left off. Did you have anything here on Zim?
I have 2380 as a support level because back from June, July, and August, that was the resistance area. All 3 times that it tried to that it visited up in this area. You can see that from those peaks there, specifically the dates of June 5th, July 2nd, and August 19th. Those are all finding resistance up at that 2380 level. Now that we're above it, I'd be looking at that level as support.
Okay.
That's a level I have, 2380.
2380. All right. I'm actually looking for this to maybe kind of break higher. One of the things I was comparing it to is the level that we broke out of earlier this year here, which was right around 15. I know we were talking about that in the 11s and the 12s. So shout out there. But Zim looks like this is rolling here. What is their earnings? I forgot when they're actually scheduled here for earnings. Okay, so they have confirmed their next earnings for November 20th. So just a couple of days before Thanksgiving, 15 days away, we'll see what Zim reports there for earnings.
If the earnings are good enough, it could squeeze. Short interest is quite high.
Indeed. Short interest here, still 18.76% and 2.5 days to cover here on Zim. We've actually, if you've kind of traded this live in any capacity, you've seen exactly how this can move. And how crazy it can move. Okay, we got a list of other stocks that we want to go through here, 13. Right. But before we do that, I did really quickly want to go back to Palantir, because this has been a stock that our group, whether it's happy hour, whether it's live trading, whether it's Benzinga's chat ecosystem, Palantir seems to be a favorite. James Santangelo, if you're still out there, I know you've been a big Palantir long fan for a long time. So Palantir here reported earnings last night, up 16.7%. So we were kind of watching this in happy hour yesterday, really did a good job holding that 45 area or just above it. Looks like we're actually taking the next leg higher here in the pre-market. Palantir, just an absolute rager. Really good stuff from the CEO yesterday. He's really kind of pumping it up. I just wanted to check in with you. I just wanted to check in with you here on Palantir. So when we talk about all the time, what do you think on this earnings report here?
So it looks like we're not going to get that cup with handle. I was looking for a little bit more of a pullback so that we could reload. But that, like you were just saying, the CEO, he really pumps the heck out of that stock. And they also had some pretty good earnings, guided higher. Their margins are phenomenal. So they're just hitting on all cylinders right now. But I still think that we're pretty extended here for this stock, and might be. It's still. I still think it needs to come in, but up it continues to go. Now, one of the things that I think we're we're wondering is, are we going to get a floating island out of this? I'll kind of defer to you on that, but if I kind of have a feeling that we might fill the gap to the downside following these robust earnings. I really think we do need to come back in, but if higher we go, I don't have any upside targets from here. That's where you'd have to break out the fibs.
Okay, so real good stuff there, 13. As far, I didn't want to bring the floating island up because I kind of wanted to see if that was going to materialize, but since we've done that, giddy up, let's go into it. The floating island here, if we continue to try to trade higher after today, 13, this is exactly what I'm going to be looking for. I'd be looking for any type of movement because, again, if we kind of back out here, we did pop over the all-time high already with this. If we do any kind of move higher and then come back and back test that area, I think that sets us up for going even higher. So just to use some numbers here, we're currently at 48.14. If this stock traded up to $50 and then came back in and maybe tested this 48, 47 and a half level and kind of held there, I'd then look at this as a potential long trade to curl back through 50 and maybe even break out and go higher. The beauty of that floating island setup, 13, would be, I know we're kind of high here on the RSI, but for this chart formation to form, that would actually bring the RSI in because you're talking about maybe trading a little bit sideways, coming back in after an up move. That would play really, really well for the floating island trade. So we'll see. But the question that I wanted to ask you on Palantir, what if we kind of give up this earnings gap here today? What if we do sell off a little bit? Is your cup and handle still in play? These arrows here are the handle that I drew based off that trade thesis. So what do you think here? Is this completely invalidated already, or might there still be some juice here?
If we give back the move in the earnings, I don't think we're going to give back much more than going to the 45 handle. In order to get that kind of movement down, to get a cup with handle now, I think you would have to see a much broader market move, and it would the broader market would pull down Palantir with it. I don't think Palantir on its own is going to, end up doing that kind of move. I was kind of looking for the earnings to, not be as good enough to start that move down. But here we are above 45. So for something like that to happen at this point, I think we would need some weakness throughout the market, not just the stock.
Okay, really good stuff there with Palantir. We are getting a request here from Crystal. Crystal saying, would love that when 13 joins, if he would still give his input on the SPY. He gives numbers, not just the moving averages, which is what I was giving earlier. Crystal, this is really good feedback. Yes, we can absolutely do that. 13, I don't know if you've prepared and looked at the SPY here today, but I would be more than happy to go back and do that, and then we can keep rolling through that list. Like I said, it's nice that we have all this time to hit all of these tickers here this morning. So Crystal, thank you for this. Yes, we can absolutely do that.
I will do that. And I did take a look at the SPY every morning. And yes, the 50-day SMA, of course, is in play. That's where we've been getting the support recently from that simple moving average. But we also have some levels that I'm eyeing as well. And these are previous all-time high levels. So one of the levels that we were interacting with yesterday was the 5.68 and 69 cent previous all-time high that we put in on September 18th. So that was giving us a little bit of price action there. Now beneath that one, we have 5.66 and 58 cents. That all-time high being put in the day before on September 17th. I don't really think that's going to play around too much with the price as much as the 5.65 and 16 cent one. This is the one that we got from July 16th. And that one held up for 2 months before it was taken over by that September 17th one. So I like that 565 and 16 cent level if we end up going down there, but we would have to break down beneath the 50-day SMA in order to reach that. So don't know if we're going to get that today, but as I've been saying with when it comes to interacting with these SMAs, the more we hammer these, the eventuality is that we will lose that support. Just as we did with the 20-day SMA, I'm going to continue to be watching for that 50-day SMA to continue to be tested. And at some point, I think it's going to end up falling through, and we'll get our 565 and 16 cent test.
Okay, and then actually not too far beneath that is going to be that 558.29, which is going to be the 100-day. Okay, good stuff there. Crystal, let me know if those were all of the levels that you were looking for. We can always come back to the SPY as well. All right, let's keep hitting the list here real quick. Zim, we already talked a little bit about yin. Robert, you had also mentioned Tiger. That's ticker TIGR. This is Up FinTech Holdings here. This is another one of those Chinese names, if I'm not mistaken. This actually looks very similar to the BABA chart here. Yes. So this here, brokerage firm focusing on Chinese investors. This actually might trade in sympathy with Futu, which is one of those stocks that Christian was looking at here. Tiger, for me, really need to see this, it kind of move off this level. Awesome that we've kind of put in this base, or we kind of really kind of held this $6 level. Can actually see that on the way up for this initial impulse move that took us above 14. This was really kind of the bottom end of the gap. I'm encouraged that this stock has kind of held this. The next move that I'd like to see, I'd really like to see us move through one of those moving averages and then see if we can hit some of these other levels that we've carved out on the way back down. Some of those levels here, just to kind of go with the theme of numbers, let's call it 813, maybe 815, just above 8 in there. And then I'd also take a look at this 950 level before we get into some of the crazier levels here. So I can't remember, 13, do you trade Tiger, or have you watched this stock at all? I can't remember if this is one that was on your list or not.
I traded the absolute hell out of this stock in 2021. That was when this thing was having a great time. No, I mean, if you want to look at a daily chart or a larger time frame, you can see how much fun this thing was in 2021. Oh yeah, there you go. So that thing was a good time. I haven't really touched this since then, but I have noticed that it is coming back up. Now, I will say that we are blowing through all these analyst price targets. I think the next one is supposed to be 758 from China Renaissance. So we're I guess I'd be a little concerned that we're already kind of exceeding the price targets of some of these analysts. I don't know how this company operates that well. I just know that it was a great trading vehicle back then. Now, I want to make one point about this, and I think that's the only good point I have about it, is when we were trading this back in 2021, this is when we were getting a whole ton of stimulus in the United States. Now, what country is getting a whole ton of stimulus right now?
China.
Right. So I think there may be a relationship there to the China stimulus and this coming back up. You put money in the pockets of people that are trading these markets. I'm pretty sure you're going to see companies like Up FinTech start to move. So I think that while the stimulus is working, this is going to be in play. We have I don't know the name of the regulatory body or the government body that is meeting this week, but they are it's the financial advisory board or committee or something over in the CCP that's having a meeting today about getting the economy back on track and discussing more stimulus. So that'd be something to watch for with that one. We get more stimulus, I think you're going to see TIGR continue to move up.
Okay, and I think that can pretty much be applied to a lot of those basket of Chinese stocks that we've been talking about, namely BABA, Baidu, and then also Yin. Okay. Awesome. So let's keep rolling through the list there. What else did you have? Lumen. Next here is going to be Lumen from Robert. And then I do want to go through the movers list here real quick. Sure. A couple of things to look for. And then we can get right back to some of these tickers here. So Lumen here, I'll tell you what, this on the daily chart is absolutely teasing a breakout of 8. We're really not that far here today away from that level. So to me, the obvious big side or the obvious big level to look at here is going to be this 8 level. Can we actually break this and move higher on Lumen? Let me see if there was any news here today. Tuesday, November 5th, Lumen Technologies partners with Google Cloud to drive AI innovation and accelerate a digital transformation. So it looks like you're kind of getting a generic AI PR there on ticker LUMN. What do you think here on Lumen? Also, keep in mind, they have earnings after the market closes here today.
That's certainly a very good headline. And I think that's going to mean a lot of future revenue for this company. The only thing that has really bothered me about this company when we try to trade it is the size of the float. It's quite massive.
Yeah, it is.
So it doesn't really make for a good trading vehicle most times. You need a catalyst to go with it, and even when you do get a catalyst, it's usually just something that you get the most of the movement in the morning, and then the rest of the day it kind of just trails off and leaks. Kind of how we got. I think we may have got some of that price action yesterday, to be honest. We had a morning pop. Yeah, we had a morning pop, and then we kind of trailed off, found some support, and recovered a little bit, but never hit those highs from the morning. So that's just the nature of these really large float companies. When they once the catalyst is traded, then that's it, and they don't have anything else to go on. They're not like a big name like Google or Tesla that is constantly having eyes on it. So it's not going to have that same price action. But as far as where this goes on the earnings, I mean, we're going to be watching this in happy hour today for
no question
for the news and the print. I think you're right. We could see this break out here. It looks like it wants to take on 8. We haven't gotten up there yet, but we are getting up to 780, 765. Seems like once we take out those levels, 8's likely going to be on the table. Let's look to the left and see where the last time we were hitting 8 was back in October of 2022. And how high did we get on that one? 806. So that's a potential spot as well. I don't know how much
that 11 handle really in between 10 and $12 is going to be that consolidation area. That's if we end up breaking out there from 8.
That was a huge run.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this daily formation here, especially in the near term, this actually looks pretty good on Lumen. Looks pretty good. Okay, Quantum, you wanted to take a look at Boeing. I think we actually have some Boeing news here today. Let's go ahead and do that here. Boeing shares, say again?
They vote on the strike? Yeah, they did.
Yes, they did. Boeing shares trading higher after mechanics voted to accept new contract ending the strike. So pinch yourself just to make sure that you're awake. Do we have good news on the Boeing news feed? Because normally it's nothing but really terrible news and disaster. Boeing here up 1 3/4% here in the pre-market on the back of that news. Looks like we did test 160 earlier. 13, you were kind of expecting this. What do you think here on Boeing? You think there's a trade here today?
Maybe. I mean, we're trying to recapture the 50-day SMA, but the thing about it is that for me, I wouldn't say this is good news. This is just not bad news. I mean, if you look at what the contract, and I don't want to, start throwing out numbers, I'm not 100% sure, but from what I understand and what I was reading previously, this is going to be a large increase in their wages. So that means that aircraft are going to be more expensive, which means flights can end up being more expensive as these costs get passed on to the consumer. So it's probably going to be a bittersweet victory ultimately here. For the company itself, it's absolutely what they want to see. They if they have a strike going on, they're not producing aircraft, of course. Let's say that if we really start to move up, looks like somewhere in the 162 handle. Seems like that would be the next resistance area if we open over the 50-day SMA. I would say let's call it 162.50. You can draw a line there. You see that was support back in August, and we lost it at the end of the month. Haven't been able to recapture that since. So I think that would be the spot to watch for, that 162.50 area, maybe 163. But do you see what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, right in here. Absolutely, that's an area. And 13, the good part about this is that in order for us to really kind of test this, we got the 50-day right ahead of us. 50-day currently at 156.76. Current price here on Boeing's 157.74. Really, it's going to come down to that close. Do we close above that level? Do we have some more juice to continue trading up here? Are we going to get met with more bad news here on Boeing? Because that seems to be par for the course. Quantum, lol, Boeing, bad news bears. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to go there, but since you did, factually, you're not wrong here. It is bad news bears, and so are the bears. All right.
It's still rough going for Boeing. This is if this is the turnaround, the start of the turnaround, that's good news for them. We can definitely draw on that level that I just mentioned. Above that, we have 170 and 177 as other levels of interest as well, where we might find resistance as we trade back up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'd love for this to make a move back towards its 200-day. Look at the last time that we captured and took out the 200-day. I'm actually going to zoom in on this because this is important. We might see this again. When we traded up to the 200-day, we actually got a head fake day where we popped above it, came back in and closed beneath it. Then we had another close beneath it, and then that was it. We actually ran through this, and we had a huge move here. This is the exact type of trade that I'm looking to capture again if Boeing shows any strength through its 200-day.
What was the bottom?
Say again?
What was the bottom there that you had before that run? And I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Right here?
Yeah, what was the bottom? What was the bottom? What was the date on that?
Bottom,
October?
Yeah, bottom date here, exactly. October 25th, 2023. Spot on, 13.
So that was a couple of things there, because that was when the entire market was going through a correction. And that was around the time where the entire market was recovering. Remember how I was doing a lot of shopping in October last year?
Oh yeah.
This is one of the companies that was riding that recovery wave, and they big kahuna'd this one. So we
got to get a sound effect for big kahuna. Yeah. That's for sure.
So that one was definitely riding the market recovery wave, but I think they also had some really good news as well. But yeah, that was what that was from. So we gotta wait for some of those big market polls. That's just why I've been trying to getting excited about one that should be coming, because those are shopping opportunities.
Indeed. All right, Boeing. Let's see if that positive news drives us higher here today. Tom V saying 13. Man, he does not miss a trick. You should see him on Halloween. There's no treating. It's all tricking. He's on everything. Indeed, he is. And that's why we have him around here. Also, big props to the dad tax. Sure. Did you teach your kids about the dad tax on Halloween? That would have been the first lesson I went to.
It's the only way I'm alive.
Okay. Good stuff.
Dad tax.
Good stuff there on Boeing. Okay. There were a couple of other stocks here. You guys really coming out here with some of those stocks. I know we're kind of moving through them here. Manuel wants to take a look at Lilly, ticker LLY. This is another one that we've been looking at a lot recently. Eli Lilly recently has lost the 200-day, actually really dropped beneath it, reclaimed it, and then lost it again. So Lilly here, this is a tough one, right? There, we've talked about a lot of saturation with some of the fat drugs, GLP-1, tribesicide, semaglutide, all of those different drugs. Eli Lilly has a bigger pipeline than that, but let's be very clear, the recent run here is because of some of those drugs. So the question is are things changing around here at Eli Lilly, or is this an opportunity to buy? The way that I'm kind of thinking about this one is I am definitely interested in trying trades to the upside on Lilly. If you're going to short this, if you think that there's, if you take a look at this and you think, oh, wow, there's a lot of room for us to pull in, you're not wrong. I'm just not sure that we're going to get that trade here. Every time Lilly really kind of trades in, it bounces pretty well. Just taking a look at the RSI right now, we are absolutely in oversold territory. I wouldn't be shocked if we just kind of recaptured that 200-day just off the RSI. But that's kind of what I'm looking at here on Lilly. I'd really be waiting this 200 recapture. We get some of that. I'm likely to swing some calls here for a couple of weeks. 13. I know Lilly's not the most common trader for us, but do you have anything on this before we take a look at some of those movers?
Yeah, so the 800 level that it's at is pretty interesting. It's the kind of the top end of this consolidation that started almost towards the beginning of the year. We'll say February 15th to about the middle of May. We have this consolidation channel that the price traded in for all those months, and the top of that area is about where we're at right now, just above 800. So 800 would be one particular level of interest for me, because once we lose that, we're in this consolidation channel. If we do fall into that consolidation channel, I think 750, I know that's just another really even number. 750 looks very interesting to me. If you draw a line at 750, I think it becomes clearer why it looks so good to me. You have this bottom from August 5th, from that the unwinding of the yen carry trade, bounced right off of that area. Let me see what that low print was. 747 and 55 cents, and then it immediately recaptured it to close much higher. So I think 750 might be a very important support level that if we lose, I think we're definitely going to be testing that 500-day SMA. But first things first, let's see if we can even actually get to 750. And once we do, let's see what happens when we get there. But I think 750 is going to be an important level going forward.
Okay. Really, really good stuff there. Jonathan mentioning IWM pre-market lows here today. The thing that's notable to me about this is that IWM is what led the way higher yesterday. So maybe just kind of an inverse move there. All right. Atlas, you want to take a look at HIMS? Let me put that on the docket. Let's roll through the movers list here, because there are a couple of things that I wanted to cover here today. Then we can go back and do ticker time. Oh my God. The market opens in 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? Boy, I'll tell you what, time really flies when you're having fun. Want to thank everyone out there in internet land for all of your support here today. Absolutely. I can't believe how fast that went. Okay, real quickly here, we already talked about Palantir. We actually talked about a number of these items on the list here, but I'm going to start with one that we've talked about recently, VSIG. This was, I don't know if you folks remember, but this stock was 6 or 7 cents yesterday. They did a 1 for 49 reverse split effective today. We have seen that some of these reverse split stocks, even if they have a whole bunch of other junk and stuff going on here, just that catalyst seems to be what drives us higher here. So VSIG, this is day one of the reverse split. I did take a little bit of this yesterday ahead of the split. Very, very small. I consider this a gambling trade, but that's what's going on here. Looks like 280 with a 279 bid right now here on VSIG. I'd be looking for really kind of a pop above anywhere between $3 and $4, and I will consider this a successful trade. So that's what's kind of going on here on VSIG. Do you have anything on this one, 13?
No, this is just one of those happy hour specials.
Yep. This I like that happy hour special. You know what? We'll leave it at that. So catalyst here, reverse split, 1 for 49 as of today. I wanted to start with this one, SPPL. This is one of the penny stocks from yesterday. Bonjour, Smoke Tuna. I wish I knew how to say good morning in French. I'm gonna work on that for tomorrow, now that we've talked about that. Anyway, it's great to see you here. Good morning, Jacob Bear. Happy election day for all of you that I went and voted. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, did push-ups, went to my polling place. Voting is done. So get out there and vote, people, and also hit that like. Appreciate you, Jacob Bear. Okay, SPPL, this is simple. This was from yesterday. This was a penny stock that we didn't really cover on the outset, but as soon as the market opened, it became very apparent that the stock was going to be in play. A number of our chatters ended up hitting this yesterday pretty well here, and guess what? We are no longer a penny stock. Stock gapping up by another 38% here today, up about 45 cents. Stock right here at 163. We actually hit 250 higher. Our 250 earlier this morning, excuse me. It does look like we're kind of holding the area that we pulled back to in the after hours yesterday. So part of me wonders if we're set up here for a trade back to the VWAP. I currently have VWAP at 192, and then again 250 above it. So 13, I know I can't remember if you traded this one yesterday. I don't think you did. I certainly didn't, but now, especially after watching it yesterday, I feel a little bit more comfortable with it today. What say you on SPPL?
Couldn't really get a read on their balance sheet or finances, so I'm not really sure how old this company is. But they're moving on a plan to regain compliance. So they've already been on the market for some time. They have 6.23 million shares in the float. Didn't really have a whole lot of other information that I was able to find on them in terms of their finances. So let's just make this one of those things that, okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's just try and trade it and capture some of the movement. Yeah. For that, we are currently at 160. So as we move down here in the pre-market, I'd be looking at 140 as a bought for support, somewhere between 135 and 140. There should be a bit of a demand zone in there. We'll see if that ends up happening. If we turn around and start to trade back up, it's going to have to contend with the zone that it's putting in right now, and also in the after hours, which is going to be between 160 and about $2. So I think it might have a little bit of a rough time trying to get back up there. I think a lot of this move may have already happened. So we'll just end up having to wait and see if that's what we're going to get. I think this is going to be one that we need to wait for the open and see what it does, because I don't like it moving away from the VWAP like it is right now. And it is not showing any sign of turning around yet.
You are absolutely reading my mind, 13. The other thing here is that given the price action that we had yesterday, we actually have a more clear roadmap for potential support levels on the way down if it does continue to break down. So I'm with you there, 13. I definitely don't like seeing this diverge from the VWAP. However, what that means to me is that if this does hold, if this does stop breaking down and maybe even shows any type of propensity to turn around, we might have a trade on our hands here. Let's see if 150 holds. The other thing that you can do, kind of just look at some of these levels. I think you talked about 136 already from yesterday, maybe 113. And if we get into Pennyland, we shall see. By the way, it looks like my first attempt at a dad joke with a straight face fell kind of flat as I said bonjour, and then I wish I knew how to say good morning in French. Turns out that's what bonjour means. You guys, I'll try to do better here on my dad jokes. At least you folks all knew what I was thinking.
I think the joke was maybe a little too dry.
Yeah, probably. That's generally.
No more desert jokes from Ryan.
No more desert jokes. Like I said, been up since 4 in the morning. It is what it is. Okay,
you're doing fine, man.
Also, next on the movers list here that I wanted to talk about here is AGFY. I know we still have ABLT, but I believe it was Jennifer earlier. It was indeed Jennifer. You wanted to take a look at AGFY. This is Agrify. We have a huge move going on here in the pre-market. Multiple impulse moves up towards the highs here on ticker AGFY. News here: Agrify secures funding from Green Thumb Industries and announces new leadership there. If we go into this, says board of directors has approved a $20 million convertible secured note, of which $10 million will be drawn upon at closing. So that's your news here on Agrify. Stocks up 80% here in the pre-market. Actually have some pretty nice formations here, pretty nice volume here. If we take a look at the short interest, it does have 2% of its float shorted with pretty much only 1 day to cover. So fairly negligible, at least in my opinion, in terms of its short interest. If we take a look at insiders here, there was some insider buying, but that was way back in March. I don't really think that's playing into anything going on here. And then lastly, float 1.12 million. On average, trades just about 36,000 shares. Today, we're up around 12, almost 13 million. 13, what do you think here on ticker AGFY Agrify?
Yeah, so I think the leadership change may be more significant than the securing of financing. This is one of those companies that has financed their operations before, and they still lose money. I think let me just take a look at their income statement to see if that's still the case. Yeah, they still have some quarters where they're making money and some quarters where they're losing it. So now the thing that's interesting about this is that we're kind of going into the election right now, today, and this seems to be a bit of an election issue. So I think it's getting some attention from that as well. I think as soon as you hear one of the candidates mention cannabis, you're going to see some more excitement in that part of the industry. But as far as the trade goes today, I really don't know with Agrify. This one was hot back in 2021. With ACB and CGC and all those other ones, but I don't know that we're necessarily going to get the same moves. As if we can hold VWAP, we should be able to get some pretty good trades today. But for me, it looks like it's trying to roll over here in the pre-market, and we might have to wait for some bottoming before we can get a trade out of this, unless you want to trade it short.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing that I like here on AGFY, we're right here at the VWAP, so I like the idea of maybe kind of waiting out the opening print here, see where this stock settles, and then trade it from there going forward. We'll see what AGFY gives us. There is a catalyst, up 70% right at the VWAP here. Okay, next here, ALBT. This is Avalon Globocare. Now, I got to say, I can't recall trading this one recently, so you'll have to let me know if you recall this one. But ALBT stock up. We actually did trade above $5 here. Stock closed at nearly $250 yesterday, up 83%, was up over 100% earlier here today. Taking a look at the news, I have nothing new on my news feed, so it looks like this is just kind of a Momo news, Momo move higher here. Quick look at the short interest, very, very similar. 2% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. Really not a whole lot going on there. Share structure here, 9.8 in the 9.8 million in the float, excuse me. On average, stock trades about 370,000 shares. Today, we've already traded almost 23 million. So ALBT in play here today, kind of like where it's at. This is, I would call this a pre-market support level. Let's see if maybe we can move through the VWAP. Do you have anything here on ALBT?
I'll try to go fast. We have 40 seconds.
Perfect.
So ALBT, the news that's happening with this is that yesterday they released a Form 8. And in that Form 8, when you read it, you understand why we're moving today. This is they are going to be submitting an appeal to regain compliance because they just did a 1-for-15 reverse split late last month as part of the regaining compliance process. We're open now. They still got a notice of delisting, and so their plan is to submit an appeal to regain compliance. They have 9.8 million shares in the float. The company needs cash, but submitting the appeal process is what they are planning to do today, according to Form 8.
Okay. Really good stuff. As you mentioned, we are open here. By the way, DJT, yes, I suspect this is going to be in play. Whoever mentioned this earlier, yes, I also suspect this is going to be in play here. First move is down as the stock pulls out of the gate. Happy election day, everybody. Let's see if we can make some money here today.
One other, I had a couple of other movers too, but I'll just mention this one real quick. ZVSA, this one's moving because they highlighted data for a drug they're working on. They don't have any clinical trials going on with this one yet. They plan to start that in mid-2025. Company has 1.07 million shares in the float, did a 1-for-20 reverse split on April 26th. They also need cash, so be careful with that one. That's ZVSA.
Okay, there you go. ZVSA. That's on screen here right beneath the VWAP. Let's see if we take that out and move higher here. Move higher here. Okay. VMEO is being mentioned by Fairchild. Sorry about the fake out this morning, Fairchild. Glad you found your way. Let's take a look here at VMEO. Oh, a little bit of a lag there. What's going on?
What's going on with this one?
Vimeo. Here we go. Big pop out of the gate. This looks like this is going to be on earnings here. This pop continuing here. 7 in play here.
Okay, let me see if I can find some levels here for this one.
Vimeo continuing to move here. A-Lab, this was also on our list here. A-Lab, this actually might go for a kind of a gap and go here. Watch A-Lab on a breakthrough. This level right here, 88. A-Lab?
VMEO, this one could go to somewhere between 760 and 770 if we continue this breakout move.
Oh my God. A-Lab just left me in the dust, folks. I tried to get out there and trade this right around 88. This thing's already printing 90. Grats if you hit this one. Holy smokes. Big mover right out of the gate here on A-Lab. This left me in the dust. No fill. Going to pull that order actually in case it comes back in. Wow. Okay. Well, we've got action here early. We've got action. That's for sure.
Bitcoin is looking pretty good this morning, approaching 70K.
You have any thoughts on Bitcoin given the election here today and what's going to, I think Bitcoin could be volatile, not only all trading day here. I actually think it could step up in volatility after the market closes because I think there are going to be people trading this election via the Bitcoin markets. That is for sure. A-Lab printing 90s and higher now. Wow. Yeah. Pissed I missed this move.
You'll find something else and you'll nail that.
Oh, no, you're right about that. I'm just saying I actually threw my order out there. GoGo. Funny story here. Market Sniper mentioning GoGo. It is indeed going here. This is a big stock for me. I was trading this back when this was $3-4 on the move up to 12. GoGo, one of my best winners from years and years ago. Really nice to see this company moving higher here on the backs of those earnings, up 28%.
ZVSA, the one that I sped through at the open here, that one is having a good open. right up to $3, where there's this one resistance line that I have drawn here. If we break through this, I think this could go as high as 340. And here we go. We're making our way. We're chewing through 320 right now. And there's a big old wall there.
13.
And through that, almost no, pulling a little bit. Look, I still think 340 is possible in this one, at the very least 338. But that was a nice move on ZVSA. Let's see if we can get another setup on that one.
Yeah, indeed, that was.
All right, so let's see. BITO, that one's going with Bitcoin.
Palantir looks like a dip right out of the open. Just reclaim the VWAP. Watch for Palantir to go higher here. By the way, I am out the rest of the butterfly. That is official now. Anne-Marie getting it done. We're going to have Anne-Marie on a little bit later here today. Give us some more trades. Oh, Palantir booked. Let's go. Let's go. Tesla higher off the open here. That's actually going for its pre-market highs on Tesla.
And then watch it all just come crashing down. The market would do something like that too.
Just run Tesla right to the pre-market highs and then yank
just run all these up.
SPPL here. Izzy, it looks like you're all over this one. This pulling back initially, I'd be interested if this can actually kind of firm up and then give us a long side trade. That would be juicy. We'll see if we can get that here. SPPL. DJT here. This, what a surprise, but this is already wild here today. First move here was down, then went 4 new highs, didn't quite get there. This is still kind of discovering. Watch a break above the pre-market highs here. Let's call that 38 and change. You might get a little bit more of a run here. Ticker DJT.
So I don't know about this one. It's not even on the movers list or anything, but I just kind of happen to look at the chart and I'm thinking there's a setup here in this one. DUO. This is Duo.
Duolingo.
No, this is the FANG network.
Gotcha. Oh, right. Sorry.
It just recaptured VWAP and it's holding above there right now. The volume's really low, but the setup isn't too bad. So maybe just kind of put this on your radar. But it looks like it's setting up to for a bigger move. The volume is just terrible right now. But if that volume changes, this thing could blast off up through 140.
Okay, good spot there. 13. Here we are at DJT with that pre-market high. Look for a pop above. I am trading this right here, looking for a little bit of a pop above here on DJT. They pull this back to VWAP and it breaks VWAP. We'll probably run for the door. This thing liable to be all types of volatile here today.
Yeah, this 3850 level. This has been the resistance all pre-market.
Yep.
So we're trying to break through that now. We do that. 40 is definitely on deck.
Yep. By the way, while we're waiting for that, I'm not seeing it here on the relative volume scanner, but it's cool that this is kind of working out. VSIG here. Remember, this is a 1-for-49 reverse split effective today. 3 seems to be the spot. This thing pops anywhere between 350 and 4. We'll look to kind of close that on the overnight trade. VSIG, recent reverse split so far near the highs. Let me go back to DJT. That's pulling in off that top. So it looks like now we're kind of setting up a double top here. See if we can work our way through that. Smoke Tuna mentioning XPON on a setup here. That's ticker XPON. Let's take a look. Experion. Okay, so we had a nice little impulse move up towards 460, pull back almost down to balance. See if we can roll through VWAP there on XPON. No position for me on this one.
Agrify. This one looks like it's probably heading to $4.
Real quick, Jay Michael here. Congrats on your Palantir. Congrats to everybody. In fact, I'm going to play this in honor of 13. We found a treasure chest with Palantir. Let's be sure to thank Anne-Marie, who really kind of helped us structure that butterfly trade, low risk trade there. Smoke Tuna mentioning on VSIG here, it's got a big spread. So really quickly here, VSIG, this is one we knew this split was going to come. We had talked about it in happy hour. This is exactly why I wanted to load some of this yesterday. pre-split because it was 1 cent. The spread was 1 cent. There was no spread issue yesterday. I wasn't sure how it was going to trade here today. Looking at it now, it looks like the spread is 3 cents here, bid in the ask. So really not terrible, but that's why I bought this yesterday, smoked tuna. Hopefully we'll sell this here today. Palantir, that dip and rip looks like we're up towards the pre-market highs. Is James Santangelo still out there? Let me actually Slack him.
All right. Just looking around here, looks like SPPL went right down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute and getting a bounce. Let's see if we can recapture VWAP with this bounce. If we do that, we might get a good trade to the upside here.
SPPL, actually, to my eye, it looks like it's trying to hold this area here, 13.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 200 EMA right there at 140.
DJT broke higher here, 38.5. We're looking for that 39 target. Giddy up. I'm going to flip over to DJT real quick. Would you shout and let me know if SPPL does something here? Here we go, DJT. Let's see, 38.50. Excuse me. Let's see if we can blow through that print 39s. Book our first trade of election day here in the green.
Yeah, that SPPL, that was the one I was saying yesterday that could go to the 200-day SMA. Sure enough, it did. Went a little bit higher, actually. But this thing is going to come back in. It's very extended now.
Nice little pullback here in DJT. It set that new high and then yanked. Didn't break down. Really good to see, at least so far. That action's good to see. DJT right back on there. Right back on there. Let's see if this can break 38.50.
Yeah, it really wants to get up there, it looks like.
Yeah, it feels like it wants to go here. Feels like it wants to go.
It's still, it keeps pushing on that level. I feel like it'll eventually just push right through it. That's a feeling. ZVSA, says the crow. He's watching it.
Okay.
I like it.
I can flip there. I got another window here for DJTs.
So ZVSA, this one looks like it's actually, well, it's pulling now, but this one is really trying to get above 340. Really trying to. Because constantly getting resistance at this 338. Been getting it all pre-market. I feel like if it keeps hammering this, that's where it's going to go through. It's going to go through that. Especially speaking of hammering, DJT through that level, going higher.
Indeed. Let's print those 39s, baby. Let's print those 39s. God, we are so close there.
I think we're going to get 40.
Through. Let's go. Let's go. Gratz, here we go. We got more on DJT here. Absolutely awesome first trade here. 39 and change. Are we going to get 40?
I think we might get 40 here.
We're going to get 40. I'm still in here. I'm still in here. I did shave a little bit. Scale on the way up. 40 is the new target here.
I'm pulling a little bit. Yeah,
I'm going to close that now. But good stuff there. We were looking for 39 and change. That's what we got. 1 for 1 on the day. Green on the screen. Let's wait for DJT to set up again here. Really good stuff, group. Really good stuff here.
Unless that pull was just to shake out Ryan. And then
hey. shake me out for a 1 for 1 trade here. I'll take that. I will take that.
All right, let's see what's next. It looks like Agrify is turning around now. Looks
so
like
this sorry for interrupting you here, Larry. I know I saw that you mentioned this earlier here. This is interesting here. What do we think here on oil? Larry making the case here. Maybe we see oil down near $50.
Oh, he's talking about a new all-time production high.
Yep.
Okay. Because I was like, the price isn't at an all-time high, but
that was in August. U.S. is not making it easy for OPEC plus. Iran increase, Libya increase. Will we see $50 oil? That's a good question. Would that be more inflationary
if we have an oil glut?
No. If we saw cheap oil?
Oh, if we saw cheap oil, probably.
Yeah. We'll see if that materializes. By the way, DJT still holding up there near 39.5. I'd love for that to pull back now. Ticker DJT.
SPPL trying to bounce off that
Oh,
EMA that I
look
mentioned
at
and come
that.
back up. Let's see if it can get past 160. There's a good amount of pre-market consolidation right in there.
Look at that. Guys, let me know if you have any other comment here on Larry's oil.
A Tim Melvin play is actually doing really well this morning. VTS.
Oh, you don't say.
This is one I was loading up on, and it's had a pop here this morning. Let me take a look at this daily chart because I think this was supposed to be a breakout kind of move. I guess the breakout's going to be over in above the 26 handle, but this is a good move out of this consolidation that's been going through for about half a month. Yeah, scapegoat. I think that's what's going to. I think that what might happen. There's a lot of things at play here. He's big on drilling, so we might see increased production, which will also cause oil to drop. The OPEC, and I know there's Saudi Arabia wants to see him win, and I think if we do, we might see. Trying to think of what exactly is supposed to be happening with that. It has to do with the Abraham Accords. But your point is I'm right there with you. I think if he wins, we will see oil come down. It happened last time he was president. All 4 years, oil was one of the, if not the worst performing sector.
And I mean, given the election cycle too, Trump would take a victory lap. If this is at what happened, he would immediately not waste the opportunity to take a victory lap and say, "Hey, I lowered the price of gas for everybody." That to me seems for sure.
Yeah.
Is he here still on LAC? Looks like we're still holding higher from your entry yesterday, which was pretty good. Sorry, what did I run you over there on?
I'm just going to mention that DJT is still trying to push up to 40.
DJT holding that area higher here. SPPL, the other one, you called that bottom almost perfectly, plus 11 cents off that bottom tick there. Really good stuff, SPPL. To quick look here at the SPY. SPY trading higher here. S&P futures up by maybe 0.5% just about. So things looking good early here. Lynn and Randy, are you still? I have to know if Lynn and Randy is still out there. I'm going to ask first before I go to it. Lynn and Randy, you tell me if you're still out there. I almost can't believe what I'm seeing.
With regard to the SPY, we're coming up to a consolidate. We're in this consolidation area, actually between two previous all-time highs. Those levels being 572.10 and 572.88. So it seems like we're finding a little bit of resistance in that tiny space between the two previous all-time highs. So if we can break through that, I would think that 574.71 is on the table. And if we cannot, we're going to start trailing back down towards the 50-day SMA. SPPL, this is really moving now, chewing its way through the consolidation, going higher now up to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
Okay. Really good stuff. Look at SPPL. Look at SPPL. Oh my God. I'm a little bit late tonight. 13. Dude, the money team just printing here this morning. We're staying focused at. We need the money team here right now. Huge move.
Crent Biscuit saying ZVSA may go. It's right. It's having a fight with VWAP right now. And if we can close this candle above it, that would be good news for it. The thing is that the previous 3 candles had some nasty looking upper shadows. So I think just exercise some caution. But if we can close above VWAP, I think that's gonna be a good sign for this to push back up higher and nullify those upper shadows. So let's see if that's what we get.
Anthony making some money here with the group. Thanking 13 for that. Anthony, awesome job. Smoke Tuna mentioning SPPL is weak here. So nice move right to that VWAP. That's kind of where it stopped. Really good stuff there. Ring that register. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid.
Yeah, I might have trouble with 180 if it can't shoot through this size here. It looks, well, it's doing it now. If we bust through 180, which it's currently doing, I would think that it's going to run into some trouble around 2. Z-Car halt up.
Zika. Oh no!
It
not
left
again,
Z-Grudge.
not again. Are we? Is it going to be one of those days? Oh man! Oh man!
This thing reverse split. I don't remember the price being this high. Let me look.
Zika. Oh my God!
It did. It did a 1-for-100 reverse split on October 22nd.
Okay, so that's recent. We got another recent. By the way, speaking of that recent reverse split, here's VSIG. This is working. It's trying to go higher here on VSIG.
Yeah, float's much lower now, so should be easier to push around.
GoGo, whoever mentioned that, this actually might be setting up for another test of those highs there. $9 seems to be the spot on GoGo, $9. ALBT getting mentioned by Smoke Tuna here. We're right at the VWAP. Tuna, you think we break out here, ALBT, from that VWAP?
Let's see.
Looks like VWAP checked so far.
Yeah.
Brandon, you're all over it. Your timing is good, my man.
I'd be waiting for the next visit up to VWAP on ALBT. If it starts pulling, but it gets support around this area here, down at around the 65 EMA at 385-ish, it might be able to bust through the VWAP the next attempt up there. But MACD is showing that it might need some more time. Let's see what we get here. It's still holding, so might just need a little bit more time to push to that VWAP.
Izzy, all over Lunar. Izzy, you've been on a lot of these movers recently. Real sharp stuff. Lunar here looking like this, taking the next leg up after that consolidation post impulse. ALBT still holding right at that VWAP. Lots of fake outs today. It's election day, Tuna. It is election day. We're going to see fake outs all the way until the wee hours of the morning, I suspect.
What was nice about Lunar is that it was kind of trailing down a little bit, losing the 20-day SMA. Now we would need to see a recapture of that. The 20-day SMA is going to be at 796. So let's just say that this needs to get back over 8. Once this is back over 8, we're going to be above all the moving averages, and we could have that conversation about this pushing up to 10 and maybe going higher. But I think it needs a catalyst. Yes, Replay Game Lab. There should still be one more piece of news, another contract coming from NASA. So I'll have to look and see exactly when that is. I personally just only have a very tiny position in Lunar. I was going to load up more if we lost the 500-day SMA and went under 7, but that didn't happen. So, it did for one day. I wasn't paying attention when that happened. But yes, I would like to own this lower. And there is still one more piece of news coming, I think, on LUNR. Let me come back to you later with when that may happen. Z-Car suspended to the upside, by the way.
Yep, that is halted. We're waiting for the Z-Car open here. Wiz saying, GoGo, no volume. Volume really kind of came in here. GoGo, for this to get above 9, it's going to need to see a pretty substantial volume push. We'll see if we end up getting that here. By the way, wanted to check in here on DJT. This is going to be wild all day here today. Look at that pullback to the VWAP. Giving you another opportunity to trade this here. Sorry, I was flipping through some other ones. I would have called that. I'd actually traded that again from the VWAP right there, honestly. VMEO, this right at the VWAP. Let's see if we break out there. Might have a potential long trade there on VMEO. Izzy mentioning Sound. That has been really rocking recently. That's ticker SOUN. That's Soundhound AI. Another decent move here today on SOUN. Palantir looks like 50 prints are coming, huh, Market Sniper? Or Grouch? Sorry, got your name mixed up there. Palantir. Boy, aren't we glad we haven't been short this since the 20s? Just saying. Just saying, because that would have been pretty effing terrible. This has been a moneymaker for the entire show here. Palantir. Spread your wings and fly, baby.
Looks like SPPL still trying to recapture that 65 EMA.
I know it's early here. We had Christian earlier. He was talking about the VIX. VIX getting absolutely melted here. 22 handle to a 21. 2103, your current read here on the VIX. So far, so good. VIX getting melted this morning.
Smoke Tuna mentioning drug? No. Not this one again.
That would just make today, wouldn't it?
It would make sense. Is what it would make sense.
Here we go. 57 breakout. Let's see. This actually was a decent level. Okay, so it wasn't a 57. Okay, so it was a little bit higher. I beg your pardon. Almost 60, it looks like. Had some other areas of resistance in here. Okay, so we got a little bit more to go here on drug. We got a little bit more to go.
Hey, Vintage Tool, that's great that you nailed SPPL. Go ahead and have a wonderful rest of your day. No sense in giving that all back. You did a great job. Come back tomorrow and we'll make some more. How about that, man?
Yeah, nice little curl there from the bottom. That 13 called out pretty much perfectly, by the way, dude. Really good stuff there, right to the VWAP there. So SPPL, DJT, good trades here early, opening and closing here in the morning. Even VSIG is working.
If that drug volume expands, maybe 63 is on the table. But I think we need more than. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's quite all right. VKTX, this really had kind of a rough day yesterday. Does not look, at least so far, like we're interested in setting any new lows here today. Coming up off the bottom here, $66 on VKTX. Actually, this might not be bad for a potential play. Jonathan Cooper, you're mentioning VSIG. As mentioned earlier, the happy hour team has been all over this one. I'm long some of this from yesterday, pre-split. That seems to be working here today. Would really like to see this bust. If we get anywhere near this 350, I'll close this trade here, but would like to see this maybe pop on some more volume. That would be sweet. Craig, good morning, Craig. It's great to see you around here as well. Mentioning Reddit up another 5% here today. Tell you what, 13, there are a couple of stocks that I missed in 2024, but the one that I was just flat out wrong on was Reddit. Right after the IPO, I was looking for 20 or teens even. This thing printing 120 or 100 teens. Just unbelievable move here on Reddit.
That's a stock that needs to come back in for sure.
You were asking earlier about an island. I think that was on Palantir, right? Well, here we go. Island on Reddit would be even better. Now, we did try to come in here. There's no way I would have front run a floating island trade this high off the bottom. Just to be clear, when I talk about floating island, when you have this impulse move and the stock price pops to a new area where it's discovering what the price is, a lot of the times this move will back test the bottom end of this candle. That, generally speaking, is a long trigger. Now, we did not quite get that here today. We retraced about 66% of this candle, 2/3 of the candle. So I wouldn't have entered there. But if this gets down to 104, let's call it maybe 103, 104, and it holds there, that's going to be a long trade. I would try that one. RDDT, the ticker here, Reddit. SPPL looks like this is getting mentioned here again. This trying to break and go higher.
Let's see here.
Zcar, look at that. Oh, was this the? No.
I think that's still the same halt.
Yeah, this is the same halt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or was this the initial?
Somebody was mentioning something that I was just looking at. Drug. Jonathan Cooper says drug has a massive short interest, 113%. That means it's naked shorted. I'm getting a read of 30. Did they recently? What's going on with drug? Why is it all of a sudden a huge short interest? Maybe because it had that huge run, but did they do a reverse split or something?
No, the float numbers look to be the same.
Yeah, they didn't. That's weird.
That is weird. I mean, that to me looks like really elevated short interest. I mean, if we take a look at the chart here on drug, like look what it did. This went from $2 to 60. So I could absolutely see people being like, yeah, I want to short this.
Yeah, I guess that's what it must be, Jonathan. It's heavily shorted, that's for sure. I don't know about the 113%. That would be a naked short for sure. But yeah, I feel like that data is a little bit off. Still definitely squeezing though.
Yeah, Jonathan's checking other sources too. Fintel's that's generally pretty good. Stay focused here. Good to see you, man. Ryan, is Intel what? Is Intel a trade here? Intel is actually fairly interesting. I almost wonder if this has ties to the election here today. First of all, for Intel, if this has any more upside and we're able to break above this, let's call it 24.5 here, maybe we have a potential gap fill up to 29. I don't know if that's going to materialize. Maybe we'll see. But that's kind of what I'm looking at here on Intel. We'll see if this can break out from 24. I almost wonder if this is going to be an election play just because the American nature of this company and wanting to do some of the chip manufacturing here. I don't know the answer to that. Stay focused. I'd actually love to get your thoughts here. Nice little move this morning on really good volume.
I feel like Intel is getting a lot of takeover news. There's news about, I think it's running on what the CEO said.
Well, here we go. Yesterday, Silver Lake and Baiynd Capital set to bid for multi-billion-dollar stake in Intel's Altera unit, with Intel targeting a $17 billion valuation. This was a rumor we got yesterday, originated from Reuters. This was in the afternoon yesterday. Robert, is that the rumor that you were hearing?
Well, I don't know that the U.S. is going to bail out INTC. I know that they're going to be getting some of that CHIPS Act funding. They haven't received any of it yet. Is Kramer mentioned on CNBC? Oh, geez. Well, just if we don't watch Kramer, then we're not going to know if that's what's going on, because that guy's terrible.
Take that. 13 just out here with the daggers earlier, just does not care. I love it.
But Intel is also a target of a potential takeover. Qualcomm's interested. Marvell might be interested. So there's also a potential takeover with Intel as well.
The power of CNBC and Kramer is stupid insane. Not saying it's good. Oh, we're with you there, Funkadelic Bob. I think your avatar there is really sweet, by the way. One of the other pieces of news here in the news feed for Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger paid a brief visit to Taiwan in early November. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, and the CNBC tends to be late on a lot of these things too.
Yeah, they sure do. There was something last week, the SMCI stuff. I think Benzinga had CNBC beat by a lot. That wasn't even really close, frankly. SPPL.
What's that doing now?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Trying to jog my chart back into working here. Here we go. SPPL still holding right at that VWAP.
Ooh,
right at that VWAP.
Yeah, that area between 180 and 190 is got a lot of supply to chew through. Quite a bit. Agrify might be finding a bottom. Seems like was this 440? Seems like that might be the near-term bottom. We'll have to wait and see if that's what the case is. If this is the bottom, we're going to want to see this come back up and test VWAP. And if it doesn't, then it's going to probably end up going down to the 65 EMA.
Smoke Tuna here mentioning SPPL might go down. Tell you what, these wicks above the VWAP look a little sus. Maybe that is showing some weakness here. Volume also on the decline there. That's not what you want to see.
DJT had a drop beneath VWAP and it retook it, trying to hold 38.50 right now. Looks like it might roll over though, but I thought it was interesting because it's still trying to push back up. I just don't know that it's going to necessarily do that right now.
Here is your ISM data. Prices for October, 58.1 versus the 58 estimate. The prior read was 59.4. Little hot there on that read. ISM non-manufacturing PMI for October, 56 versus a 53.8 estimate. The prior read was 54.9. Hot there as well. So there's your ISM numbers.
Ripping.
Market here ripping. S&P futures here up nearly 1%, up 47 points here. SPY at highs. Looks like the NASDAQ at highs. Dow at highs.
DJT ripping now.
Okay.
It's still trying to break out of that consolidation, but it's pushed up much higher. SPY, that 574.71. We are almost there. If you recall, it was talking about the need to get through the consolidation between 572.10 and 572.88. It did that. Now we're going higher here. The 574.71 is the next spot I have. I feel like we're going to get some resistance there. Maybe it trades slightly higher than that, but I think it'll still come back in. Now, if it doesn't come back in and we continue to go higher, next level I have above this is 577.71.
Real quickly here, AF, just a monster shout here. Awesome stuff on that Z-Car Open. I went to it as soon as I could. It's already halted again. So here you go on screen here. We traded right up to 531, halted at 531, open 682 now. I have no position in this one, unfortunately, just a little too slow here. Z-Car, second halt, this one to the upside, halted here 682. Also, Walter, good morning. It's great to see you. Welcome back.
10 would not surprise me in Z-Car.
Okay, well, we got some more room to go there then. 13, I'm going to step away here for just 1 second, get some tea. I'll be right back. You okay?
Yeah, let's take over the show, everybody. What are we going to do?
Hey, there we go. That's all I wanted to hear. Get that mo.
All right, folks. So let's take a look here at some of these movers that we've been trading today. It looks like ZVSA, the one that we were mentioning earlier, that one now getting beaten down after we identified those wicks as being a sign that there's going to be some coming weakness. Here we are losing VWAP and going lower. Seems like the area that we're trading down into, this consolidation from pre-market, might provide some support. I think 250 is going to be the last level of support. I also have the 65 EMA on the 5-minute right in that range there too. So if we lose 250, this thing should go under 2. What else? Hey, Anthony, have a wonderful rest of the day, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Good job on your trades. ALBT, that's still getting support from the 65 EMA. Lunar, been trying to push back up over the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Been getting a couple of rejections there, but still above the VWAP. Drug still coming down off after hitting 58. Looks like XPON is still trying to get up above VWAP. What else we got here? SPPL, that one's lost VWAP and is going down. Agrify is still trying to curl and move back up. VWAP is, I have VWAP at 488. DJT making its way. It's in the 39 handle now. I think the real question is, are we going to areas or is we're going to hit 40 in DJT?
Did that keep moving higher here? Well, we tested that
slightly.
Yep, we tested that area there.
Getting a lot of sideways action in the market, though.
Anthony, take care of yourself. You did great today, man. Way to go. Way to go.
Glenn mentioning it on a 60-minute chart. The 100 SMA is at 40.39.
Christoph saying, forget SPPL, not going above 214 here. So it looks like not 214. That's going to be the pre-market area here. Here we go. SPPL right at VWAP. Watch the 176 area.
Not going above 214 level. It's still a good ways away.
Yes, there's still plenty of room for that. Palantir 50 prints.
The thing with SPPL is I don't like these wicks that we keep putting up on every candle here. Lots of 65 EMA rejections too. So, I mean, to this point, we might get some more weakness here as we, are struggling to hold VWAP here. So I think that's a good assessment for bearishness. But when I see 214 and we're at 167, it still seems like there's a good amount of meat on the bone. But we'll have to wait for that to set up in order to capture that because this is looking weak.
Here is your 65 EMA resistance on that 5-minute. Really good stuff there, 13. Chris, good morning. Hopefully you won your hockey game. Awesome job on the DJT bank here. Overnight swing. Woo. Good luck there. Let me know if you have any plays on for the election here tonight. JR loves stock options. Palantir, baby, right? That's where that fire's at. Hopefully you guys all do well there. Buffalo by bicycle. Fitty.
Replay. VMEO is moving right now. It's it just got over VWAP. Now we need to wait and see if this is going to actually close over VWAP. But this is looking okay. The only thing that's not looking okay in this one is the volume. We just need to see this expand a little bit more so we can go and take out 7. But we're not too far away. We've come over VWAP. We just need to continue trading over VWAP. We might get a continued lift should we close this candle over VWAP.
Stay focused here, saying, Ryan, Intel seems to be breaking down. So Intel, this is a good spot here. Stay focused. This traded right into this consolidation area from Friday. Found resistance here. It's breaking down. Let's see if this comes back in here. 2290 the VWAP. So not a whole lot of movement here for this to come back in, but I could see it retracing some of this move. Volume also drying up on the backside of this move here on Intel.
Yeah, Intel, was definitely extended on a 5-minute chart. The RSI saying there was well over 77. As a matter of fact, it got over 80. So we did need to cool off there. Now it's getting some support from the highs from yesterday, which are at about just above 23. So we could continue to get that level of support. If we lose that, it looks like 2290 could be the next level. But so far, the highs or the topping out from yesterday providing support at the moment for Intel.
All right, we got those bots banned here. Good stuff, group. Boy, we out here with the ban hammer early today. DJT, 40 prints and a big break. Boom, boom, boom. DJT. Volume also picking up here. This one's certainly not done yet. Yes, it did.
Nice. There it is. 4130, next upside target in DJT.
Bam. Wait, you know what? Anyone that's on this here,
anyone that's on this
registers, dude, this has been great.
It's been a good day. Been a good morning so far.
It has. It has. DJT higher here. Big pop there.
And thank you, Wiss, mentioning fun, going with DJT as it does.
Is it? Okay, Palantir breaking 50. Oh, God, the money.
The money.
It's so rewarding when the entire group is pretty much on the exact same thing and it just goes and goes and goes. I mean, we were talking high 20. This thing prints 60. We're talking 100% on the equity in less than a calendar year. That is a humongous move here. Humongous move here on Palantir. And we also had options trades to go with that. So really, really awesome stuff. You guys are just getting it done. You guys are just getting it done. You just love to see that. You love to see that. Martin, we out here doing our best, brother. We're going to do the best job that we can. That's for sure. Go. Where did that end up going? Okay. So this actually, this is flagging higher here. This this actually does not look terrible so far. Jay Michael, this is reason for some celebration. Palantir is my second highest gain on a stock ever. Woo. Way to go, Jay Michael. You tell you what, that record is meant to be broken. I got a feeling you're going to break that down.
We need to see some volume expansion with GoGo, or it's going to go all the way down to like 8.
Oh, I see what you did there, dude. That just that's a leveled up dad joke from what I told earlier.
But it's making its way through VWAP here. It just looks like the MACD is getting really close to rolling over here. So if we get an expansion in volume to take us up and break over 9, that'd be great for GoGo. We could actually keep going with that. Okay, let's see here. So we break over 9. That's going to take us into the consolidation area from June and July. And that lasts between 9 and 10. There's a whole dollar's worth of consolidation to chew through if we break over 9.
Okay.
So that's what we have to look forward to in GoGo.
Mark, this is a really timely question. How's the broader market doing so far today? Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at that, because so far the market has been raging out of the open. SPY right the highs, NASDAQ with it, Dow followed as well. Now we are off those highs here a little bit, but this to me is really, this is nothing scary here. Let's see if we actually set up and move higher here. Wouldn't even be shocked if this pulled back into the VWAP here. Volume looks good. Market looks pretty good here today. We'll see what happens as the day goes on here. But so far, pretty good action. And we've actually had tradable action here today as well. Speaking of which, I can't even believe that we haven't come back to this stock here, probably because Lynn and Randy aren't mentioning it. Zcar, dude,
open and halted.
Like this thing, let's see. Tell me how long this was open for 23 seconds. So for you Z-Car traders, I mean, when we first started talking about this, the stock was $4 and change, wherever you ended up getting it at. It's almost 8 here. At this point now, folks, I mean, at a minimum, you got to be paying yourself off this move. This thing's a halt fest. That thing was open for 23 seconds. Just wild stuff there. Grats to whoever hit this one.
I think it wants 10. I think it wants 10.
Okay, that's 2 points away from where we're at.
Yep. Also, another close call here. SPY almost hit that 574.71. It was only 21 cents away, and it's still, there's still plenty of day left for it to go and hit that level, maybe even go through it.
Mark saying 82% incumbent wins the election. We don't have an incumbent. I know that's going to feel like a technicality to some of you, but that's the case. MPLX, was that a Tim play you're mentioning here? MPLX. I didn't buy this one if this was a Tim play. This is higher here, though, on earnings.
Is this a bank?
That's a good question. Partnership that owns both. No, this is the this is a pipeline. This is that LP. Isn't this the one where he said that you have to file the K1?
Oh yeah, that's how it's going to be with a lot of those LPs.
Yeah.
So energy transfer, enterprise product partners, basically anything it's a limited partnership, you're going to have to file a K1.
So that is higher here, 3% on the backs of those earnings. AGFY, you guys were asking about this one earlier. This so far has held the pre-market low, but really hasn't given us a whole lot from there. SPPL still under its VWAP. ALBT, boy, this thing made a move to the VWAP and just rejected. Has not strengthened yet. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. DATS was a Zach trade back in the day. I don't think I ever played that one. DATS. I know I've bought this ticker before, Dat Chat, but I don't remember the Zach play. Nonetheless, interestingly, I almost can't even believe this. Lynn and Randy, I don't think they're here, but Portillo's reported earnings here, and I'm waiting for like the other shoe to drop, because normally Portillo's likes to sell off after the earnings, and we actually resolved higher here, which is surprising to me. Conference call ongoing. Looks like they beat big on the EPS, missed a little bit on sales. This is one of their quarters that doesn't do normally very well. 1% versus prior view of flat. So they're actually same store sales up a little bit. Margin projection of 23 to 24%. That's also an increase. So I do see why this is going higher a little bit.
Hey, Gary, that's great. It's great to hear, but I still think it's worth to pay yourself on the way up. If you're just going to hold to 10, that's because you believe that, as I do, that this is going to 10. There's always those what ifs. Just make sure that if you see that weakness after this opens, you at least pay yourself on the way up, because we've already halted. Was it 3 times now in Z-Car?
Yeah, this is the third halt. That's correct.
That's not going to last forever, and we might not get to 10. You just got to temper expectations, pay yourself on the way up. You can definitely hold some going to 10. I just think it's going to go to 10 because I'm looking at the price action and this big level here that we found support before we had this huge move in August, and that low was 10.20. So that's why I think it's going to 10.
Sorry, Martin here asking SMCI thoughts. Okay, that's a good idea. I don't know that we've really kind of looked at SMCI here today. So, couple of thoughts here, just right off the bat, Martin. I'm actually going to go to the bigger chart to illustrate this here real quick, because this is a good question. First of all, we got the huge move down here Turns out that this was actually a move to short. I think there were a couple of people in here, if I'm not mistaken, looking to buy some SMCI puts. So this went lower here. So really the question for me, Martin, is where does this thing bottom? Number one. And two, do you feel comfortable holding this given all of the accounting issues that they've had and that the whole 9 yards? Be honest with you. I would like to see, like, we're right in this consolidation area, so anything is possible here. The other thing is that a sideways trade here is possible before the next move. What I'd really like to do is I'd really like to see this kind of flush and then maybe try to buy a flush for a potential trade. I just feel a little bit better if that was the case. We'll see. They do have earnings scheduled for today. We'll see what happens with that. I'm not sure if you're trying to trade this for earnings. I'd say this for earnings, I'd be very, very careful. In fact, I bet those contracts are juiced.
Oh, I guess I have to pat myself on the back. I didn't do any trades or anything, but I just made some very timely comments. Zcar unhalted. It popped up to 854 and then knifed. So this is what I was referring to by you might want to pay yourself on the way up or take some off the table because of stuff like this. We've been halting several times already, and it's only a matter of time before something like that happens. So this is why I still think it could go to 10. But things like this is what you have to expect and be ready for. Pay yourself on the way up. Don't just ride these halts. You could hurt yourself that way. So
yeah, and
Gary, hope you paid yourself on that halt there.
And to your point there about riding the halts, there's nothing wrong. Like if you have 1,000 shares and you're kicking out 300 per halt, like that's not bad. That thing halts to the upside 3 times, you're going to end up having a great day. Paying yourself on the way up of any move, halt or otherwise, is going to be really smart here. Okay, and then real quick, Bob was asking, wait, what is a Tim play? Tim is one of our guests. Tim Melvin, longtime investor, really into bank stocks, high dividend yield stocks, also does momentum, which has been pretty awesome. Sezzle was a monster. So we bring Tim on here on Wednesdays. You can expect him tomorrow. I'm actually going to try, just so you got, I haven't cleared this with them, but just a programming note for those of you that are here. I am going to try, now that we've got more time before the market opens to go over stocks and talk about different setups, I'm going to try to get our guests on earlier in the day. So I know we normally have Tim Melvin at 10 o'clock in the morning. Same with Matt Malley on Mondays. I'm going to try to get those interviews or those guests moved to before the market opens so we can just focus on live trading from the instant the market opens. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Just a quick note, you guys that should show up here tomorrow, you will see Tim Melvin at some point.
I like it. All right, Gary.
Careful, man.
All right, Gary.
Careful, man. Scapegoat here. Let's get Tim's opinion on Landbridge, ticker LB, Texas Energy Landowner and Data Center Cooler. This is an interesting one. Scapegoat, if I forget tomorrow, please bring this up. We can absolutely ask him about that. No question at all. I do want to get back to SMCI here because I think I got distracted while I was answering Martin's question. Martin, the one thing that are you playing this for earnings? Like, are you interested in this for maybe a pop on earnings? I would imagine that they would, like, given everything that's happened here real quick, if there's any bad news left in the pipeline on SMCI, I would actually use this earnings to kind of blow all that out there. Let it bottom, let it set up from there, get all the bad news out of the way, and then see what you can do to turn it around here. I'd be a little bit weary on this, but I can understand it's been such a drastic move down here. If the bar's low and there's any bit of good news, maybe the stock does pop there. I'd be curious to know how you're playing this here. I'm hands off for this print.
Yeah, so Lion Atlas, I understand the reason why you like the product because I frankly agree. The problem is that I think it's not just the accounting. They may be in violation of export controls with their chips. I don't know how bad that fallout could be, but it's bad enough for NVIDIA to already take a look and go, yeah, we're not going to send any more of our high-end chips to you. That could end up hurting the products that SMCI makes. I don't necessarily want to jump into this one right now, and you might have some other data you're looking at that makes it a great trade. So you have all my confidence with you, but for me, SMCI, I feel like this company is going to get hammered when the truth comes out about why they're not reporting their earnings and why those auditors left. I think there's some, I think there's some things that we just don't know yet, and it's going to be pretty awful.
Yeah, and that's kind of my reason for a no touch here. I understand the desire to want to trade, but sometimes there's better opportunity there. Buffalo Bicycle saying no earnings, they can't file. It is scheduled here for today. I guess we'll wait and see there if that ends up happening, but they are scheduled here from today. Jam, what time are you going to start the show tomorrow? Show now starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So we are going to start every day at 8 a.m. Should give us an hour and a half to break things down before the market actually opens.
DJT recaptured 40. It's trying to take out the intraday high of 40.74. Needs a little bit more volume. We can get up there. The next upside target I have to this one is going to be 41.30. I think I mentioned that though.
I'll be honest. I don't think this is done yet. I don't think this is done yet. I think that this probably gets wild here again here today.
Let's take a look at some of these other movers, see what they're doing.
Yeah, I noticed Sammy earlier was saying, I can't remember what this was about. I think it was about SMCI. Sammy was mentioning that it feels trappy. Sammy, if I'm quoting the wrong ticker here, please correct me. But I feel like that comment came while we were talking about SMCI. You know what that means. It's a trap. Have to go to Admiral Admar, because if it's a trap, he's got to tell us what it is.
I guess, I have a question for Line Atlas. Just kind of curious. You're holding now through the earnings, or their expected earnings, I should say, or are you going to go long after earnings? Like, what's your plan? I guess if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Real quick, markets or Fairchild, excuse me, is Market Edge Live the name of the new name instead of the prior day trading title? I believe that it is, but again, lots of moving parts here. So I don't have all of that. Voodoo says, Ryan, this is going to be separate from pre-market prep. Yes, it is. Voodoo, welcome. Great to see you here today.
We got mention of ticker TMTC. This looks like a SPAC. It is. It's halted to the upside. Grouch Wall Street was mentioning this. Looks like they are already, going to be combining with Elong Power Holding Limited. I don't know what that company is, but I think the title might give us high power battery technologies for commercial and specialty vehicles, and it's a battery company. Okay, well, good luck with that. They have no competition, right?
Yeah, just batteries. That's
I'm not harping on you, Grouch. I'm just saying that I don't know if this company is going to end up being successful, but there will be a de-SPACing process. So once this acquisition closes, I don't think you want to be in this one. This thing should go down to maybe $2, maybe lower, as the de-SPACing process occurs. Redemptions and things of that nature.
Yeah, Buffalo Bicycle. Yes, we are. Also, speaking of, we talked a little bit about AI. We talked recently about this play, this newer one, NBIS. So this was initially bought this here at 17, sold this in a 24 handle. Was awesome. Just really, if you just take a look at the daily chart here and we zoom in, you can just actually hourly might be a little bit easier to even see that. This thing moved really, really quickly, pretty much 7 points in a matter of 2 days. So basically took gains on this. This comes anywhere into the teens. Like if we break back into the 19 or 18 handle, I'd be looking to take another starter position here on NBIS.
Yesterday's low is 1921. So there's a potential bottoming level.
I'd love to see that get taken out. Quantum, if you're still around, I know you were asking about QSR earlier. They, of course, reported earnings here today. They moved lower, but buyers stepping in here. Volume is not crazy, but this up off the lows pretty nicely. This actually has a chance of going back to flat. QSR Restaurant Brands, they reported earnings here this morning. How were those earnings? Looks like a miss on the top and a miss on the bottom line there. Stock only down 1.5% here.
Crow, what's CNN melting down about? The election or the market? Speaking of the broader market, that previous all-time high of 574.71 absolutely in play today. The price went right up to it and got a rejection in the very next candle. Don't think that it's going to end here. I think we could end up breaking over it at some point. But so far, it's providing resistance. 574.71. Kind of the around the high of the day. The high of the day being just 7 cents higher than that.
So we're coming up on 10:30 here. Walter, I know you're all over this. You just love to see it here. That could have maybe a reversal here. It's interesting because right as you started talking about that, this SPY really kind of pulled here. That looks like maybe a phantom print. ZCAR open now, looks like halted to the down. This is unreal. That was open not even 30 seconds, 26 seconds. This ZCAR is open for anywhere between 20 and 30 seconds on these opens. We have now retraced 50% of that initial impulse move. ZCAR. Well, I'll tell you what, 13. We've had a pretty nice day here this morning, given everything that's going on. Really glad I didn't trade ZCAR here because that thing is all over the place.
I mean, it was great until I started, talking about how you should take profits and, be careful at the next open. And oh man, I feel like I may have jinxed that. But this is exactly what we can expect with some of these halts. When you do multiple halts, like 3 halts in a row like this, almost always you're going to get the next halt's going to be to the downside.
Yeah. The 3 halt rule is something that I've been watching for a long time. It looks like that's kind of playing in here again. By the way, SMCI from the last time we talked about it, another low here. Another low here on SMCI. Webcoin asking about where is ZCAR? ZCAR Holdings is India's largest marketplace for cars on rent. Zoomcar is a leading emerging market-focused peer-to-peer car sharing marketplace. Approximately 21,000 vehicles registered through its platform. So there you go, Webcoin. That is going to be India as its market that it services.
Yeah.
TMTC.
I don't know about that business model. We've had companies like that in the US that did not last very long at all. You remember Hire?
Yes, I do actually. Yes.
HYRE?
Yes.
That was their business model.
TMTC looks like this opened up and is pulling here.
See, Voodoo comes on, he knows exactly what the joke is.
ZCAR is Z-garbage, or ZCAR is in the Z-garage. I thought you were saying Z-garbage, but ZCAR in Z-garbage.
All right. Looks like we're getting a little bit of weakness in Bitcoin after we touched 70K.
That was a nice little spike there. We're pretty much just retracing that move from this morning.
If we come back all the way down to yesterday's high, that would be a good support level. That's just above 69,000. So let's get that print. Let's come back in a little bit more, get some 69,000 support. Take us back up through 70K. Get it done, Crypto Kings.
Crypto Kings. Palantir looks like that pullback beneath 50. Looks like this is setting up to try and go higher here.
Peloton actually going higher.
Amanda, good morning. Just got back from voting. Well done. Paper ballot or electronic? I chose paper this morning.
Yeah, I'll be going after this.
There you go. Get those steps in.
Well, I don't want to walk that far.
Yeah, I know. I was just kidding. Texas all spread out. Paper. Me too. Let's go. That's the way it's done.
Meta with the win.
Meta?
Yes. Got a comment from Quantum. Meta. Oh, this is set up. This looks like it's going to have a bit of a breakout here.
You think we test 600 here on Meta? This actually might be an interesting trade. A nice little swing trade.
Look at the 5 minute. Look at the lower time frames, like the 5 minute.
Okay. I see some wicks above this VWAP here.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I do see the wicks. Let's draw a trend line here. So we just need to take out that trend line. But here's the thing. This candle currently above VWAP. If the next one falls back beneath VWAP, then it's going to take longer for this setup to this breakout to occur. If we don't lose the next candle to VWAP beneath VWAP, then I think that could be the candle following that might be the breakout one.
Okay.
The old VWAP.
Okay, so far so good. So far so good. SMCI, by the way, continuing to print lower here. Tenzin saying trading PLTR like a boss. That's exactly what we want to hear here, Tenzin. That's exactly what we want to see here.
Go trying to recapture VWAP. Smoke Tuna mentioned Go.
See if we get that there on Go.
DJT all the way back down to, it was under 39 a moment ago. That was beneath VWAP. The MACD is showing on that this one is in the process of rolling over. Be careful with DJT. I don't know that 3850 is going to continue to provide support at the moment. Maybe later on in the day we get a recapture of that if it falls through it.
Go just took VWAP, by the way. Here is your DJT chart. Let's see what happens at 3850. That's what I've got VWAP at here. DJT. Meta, I will try and line it up with QQQ. So you're looking for a trade higher then, right, Quantum? That's what that means. Ray saying, I think Zcar is done for the longs. Shorts can still have fun with it, though. Ray, I'll be honest, after seeing some of those halts to the downside, hard for me to think anything else. Hims, thank you. Someone earlier asked about Hims, and I think I moved away from it. By the way, I still think DJT might bounce here, 3850 on that move. Here is Hims. Hims and her shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 financial results and raised fiscal year 24 revenue guidance above estimates. Seems like a good print there for Hims. Decent looking chart here. Still kind of in a downtrend, though, on Hims. This is really what I'd be looking. This trend break here is really what I'd be looking for on Hims.
Okay, next candle with Meta. Still above VWAP. As long as this candle holds above VWAP, I think we could end up breaking out of this trend. And that would get a resolution of the bull flag.
Voodoo saying, Ryan, is Anne-Marie on Tuesdays? I got BZ Pro reloaded and ready. Yes, Voodoo. Yes, she is. We will be seeing her here today. And of course, since you've got Pro loaded and ready, you can see her every day in her chat room. Good stuff there, Voodoo. Glad to have you back. Glad you're back in the swing of things.
TMTC, that SPAC, that knifed.
Looking around here, VIX settling around that 20.5. Has that moved back in from the 22 level?
We got to close above VWAP on GoGo. This one might start to put in some more movement. Looking for a break over $9. Expecting a big move in root, says the Crow.
Oh, no, that's not surprising anybody. Crow's been on route from the very beginning.
Oh, gosh. Wasn't it you that... No, that was much later in the day. I was going to say, did you call that double top in root yesterday? This was later on in the day, so we didn't.
No, I didn't.
But that was, that was just a clear indicator.
The double top, though, came from the day before. This is actually a triple. And so you know what you're probably remembering, 13, is because we probably made this double top before we signed off yesterday.
Well,
and then it did an intraday double top and it broke down from there.
Yes, so that's what I was focusing on, is the intraday double top, because when you get something like that intraday, that's telling you where the rest of the day is going to end up being. And a double top intraday like that, a robust one like this, that's bearish the rest of the day for me. That's back to start. And that's exactly where it went, almost ended up, right back to where it opened. But let's see here. So that in between the two peaks of from yesterday's price action and root, where it based kind of around 72, 70. Let's call it 73.
Yep,
that's where the price today is trying to get over. So we capture 73, we could see some better movement, some more volume expansions. But 73 looks like the spot for root. What do you think, Pro? You got in at open yesterday? Damn.
Yeah, that nice little dip and rip there on that as well. Tom saying, have to thank the crew at Benzinga and Anne-Marie for a nice string of successful butterfly place. I think you mean trades. Just wanted to throw that out there. So this is why Anne-Marie has her own half-an-hour show, and this is why she has her own chat room, because she's excellent at figuring out how to manage your risk and set up for some of those successful butterflies. Also why using the butterflies is really awesome. Get your risk lowered in there. Glad you were able to make some bank off that, Tom. Tell you what, it's when you have any type of product, whether it's a subscription or a physical product, if you can make money back off that product, that's really where it's at. I love hearing stories like this. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Pete Diesel is saying XTIA, and Crow is mentioning that he's going to swing it, but patient on entry.
Hey, sorry, which one? Which ticker?
That was XTIA. Also, DJT found support and is ripping now.
Did it move right back through VWAP? Let me just let me give you my scanner settings here. Just 1 sec. Let me take care of. Here is this XTIA. This is one of those stocks that needs a reverse split. Stock's 8 cents here. Let me bring up DJT for you. Here is DJT. Looks like another VWAP bounce here. That's been awesome. Okay. Real quick here, say, hey, Ryan, can you tell me the scanner settings? Yes, absolutely. So for the purpose of day trading here, I'll actually make this a little bit easier for you. For the purpose of day trading, I am looking for stocks that are moving on outsized relative volume. So volume that is drastically over the average. In order to do that in Benzinga Pro, I use the filter RVOL 5M30D, and the value that I have set for that is a minimum value of 3. This is expressed as a percentage. So what this means in English is that a stock needs to be trading 300% the average volume that it would in that window in order to trigger for this scan. So that right there is the crux of the scan. The other filters that I have here, minimum regular volume of 600,000. That's just a liquidity filter, making sure the stock's liquid enough and trades enough. And then I have change percent over the last 1 minute as 0.2%. Basically, I'm filtering for the stocks that are starting to curl and starting to move up. So there you go on the scanner settings. Screenshot them if you want. Let me know if that's helpful for you, my man.
The news in XTIA is that the company agreed to exchange Series 9 preferred stock for common shares to a holder. So that's the news I see here with this one. But you're right. This company does need to do a reverse split badly.
Yeah. Real quickly here, Zcar open. And actually, it's holding. It's not halting. We might set a new record here for amount of time open post-halt on the day.
Is it figuring out what it wants to do next?
I mean, it's kind of sitting here doing a whole lot of nothing. What it's not doing is ripping and halting.
Yeah, Gary said he was. Gary said he was going to, reload here. If it captures VWAP, probably could fill that gap that it created. Here we go, trying to push up. It's much. The volume's not going to be there as much as it was before, but let's see what it does. Root.
ALBT. Sorry, I'll go to Root here in a sec. ALBT. This is curling. Smoke tunas all over that. Maybe this does finally come back to the VWAP. 13. Here's Root. What are you seeing?
I think we were waiting for this to get over 73, right? Yeah, and it did. It absolutely rocketed past 73, and now we're almost at 74. Also getting a mention with Meta. That one still closing above VWAP. Next step is to take out this trend line that we put in from these peaks. Just need to see more volume expansion. Then that's really the only component missing is just the volume to get us through that.
I just got a report from one of my buddies, boots on the ground in New York, saying that the crazy amount of voters showing up at the polls there. Anyway, glad to see people out there exercising their vote. Zcar, this actually might be trying to go back up here. I'm going to stay away from this. 650 had a little bit of stock there for sale.
DJT.
Yeah.
Still not at 40 yet, but recovering off that that selling. Still haven't got the breakout yet in Meta. We just need that volume to expand and take us over the trend line.
DJT, man, that 39.50 level, it looks like this. It looks like this is going to take 40. Good stuff there on the scalp there, Crow. Virgo trading Mobileye here. That's ticker MBLY. Looks like you got $15 on Mobileye here. Let's see. What does this daily chart look like? This actually, maybe this is coming up off the bottom.
Well,
possible
good.
breakout. Yeah, possible breakout here on 16 on Mobileye, MBLY.
Yeah, Smoke Tuna and Robert mentioning A-Lab. That one's, or I'm sorry, no. Smoke Tuna mentioning ALBT. Robert mentioning A-Lab.
So Replay Game Lab here mentioning New Yorkers are voting for Peanut the Squirrel. I actually thought that this was a joke, but I talked to somebody last night who said that is for real what they are doing.
Well, of course. I mean, remember Harambe?
Oh yeah. Oh, are you kidding me?
People voted for him too. I think he got like 20,000 votes.
Right. Harambe.
20,000 Harambe votes. That's right. That's the U.S.
A-Lab here. This is another really good call here from Robert. This continuing to trade back up here. Z-Car halted again. Halted to the upside this time. Z-Car.
Oh, Gary, you're killing it, man. You guys a good reload. I hope it continues to do this and you get that 10 print. Meta. Here we go. Getting a little bit more volume expansion. Just need a little bit more. We can get through over this this trend line here. Looking good. And
tell you what, I don't trade Meta. I don't like it, but this one seems to me 600 seems like it's coming here. Didn't Meta do something with they're not advertising or they're not spending money? What was the deal here at Meta again? About them?
The election advertising dollars. Yeah, Zuckerberg said that he wasn't going to have Meta be involved in election campaign ads. I see a lot of them on YouTube. Haven't seen any on Facebook.
Okay.
What's up?
What's up?
Hey, Zunaid.
We're just coming to say hello.
Okay, we'll take that. How are you doing today?
I'm
looking
well.
sharp in the black.
Yeah.
Dude.
You know, we just recorded an all access, and I thought I'd say hello, give you guys a break if you wanted it for 10, 15 minutes, whatever. Shoot the shit. Can we say that? I think we can say that.
Yeah, we can, dude.
My break comes up in 15 minutes.
I love it. Meta. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just having kind of I don't trade this, Zunaid, because I'm just really against this company here. Hard though when the chart really kind of tells me it might be going to 600 here. Robert, I appreciate you holding the line strong here. Stay away from the dark side. Don't trade Meta.
Do we have Anne Marie today?
We do.
Cool.
As far as I'm aware.
I put a trade on Tesla. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, if I know you have more shows, so if you want, I can hang out with 13 and you can take a break if you want.
Dude, 13 gave me a break. I'm ready to go here, dude. I'll tell you this. Last time I went to the doctor, she noted my exceptional stamina, so I think we're gonna be okay. Take that, Zunaid. Take that.
Tesla.
When I close my eyes and I hear that, I don't know what to think.
Wait, when you do what? I'm sorry. Can you reenact?
Running marathons, not my specialty. So just saying.
Got it.
No, the way you described your doctor's visit was, anyway.
I just wanted you to kind of have your eyes closed again. That's all.
Take that.
Root, Crow, tell me what's going on with Root here. This thing is starting to pull now. He hit 74, which was more than what we were looking for, but that's a pretty big pull. What's happening?
You've also got possibly an insight day candle brewing. So we'll see. We'll see how it all closes out. But I wanted to real quick talk about Tesla, ticker TSLA. Of course, election day, if you're able to, and if you'd like to, go out and vote. But I also wanted to see I want to talk about trade ideas, right? And again, on this show, it's all about making money. It doesn't matter necessarily political beliefs and all that. But Tesla, I think it is an educated guess, a very well-educated guess, that if former President Trump is looking to be the next president or anything like that, Tesla shares would trade higher. If it's looking the other way, then if he's going to lose, then we can have Tesla trade lower. So I have a put debit spread, put on where I went ahead and purchased the 250 puts that expired next week, just in case we don't get a winner this week. And I also then went ahead and sold the 240. So I think I paid about $4, so $400 for each spread. And so I'm curious to see what Anne-Marie thinks about that. So I may hijack your show for like the first 5 minutes.
Okay. I don't know about this hijacking, but asking Anne-Marie for her professional, educated opinion, never a bad thing, Zunaid. I'm sure we can get that done.
Yeah. Just because, there's different ways to play the election, whether it's through poly, calci, betting markets, whatever the case is, which is legal now. That's interesting. That's awesome.
Do you do that? Do either of you do that while we're talking about that? Do either of you play on poly market? I do not do that.
13, this is a setup because poly market is not legal in the US, but calci is.
Okay, either one, man. I don't do any of them. I'm not asking you to incriminate
I do.
yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you're betting on the election. That's all.
Can you imagine that? That's just the headline on Benzinga. First new show incriminated right there. No, I do. Yes, I do have bets placed on the markets. And I do plan on doing some research after work as well and trying to see if I can bet on some states and which way they're going to swing. Matter of fact, I already have one. Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes, I do. I have to. Come on, it's in my DNA.
Okay.
Amanda has a point about Tesla that I agree with. I think Tesla's going to do fine regardless of who wins.
Yeah, I think you're right. There has been some talk recently about Elon going to jail because I gotta think cooler heads prevail. I gotta think cooler heads prevail. Other than that happening, but we'll see. I am in agreement here with Amanda. I think it's good. This is one of those stocks I think is going to do well no matter who wins.
Well, okay, so let's talk about it. And again, if there's other tickers you guys want to talk about, please welcome to interrupt me. I agree that long term, I'm talking a month, 2 months, whatever, right? And even years down the road. Yes, I agree Tesla is going to be just fine because at the end of the day, it's about the company and doesn't really, politics aside. However, I'm talking about like knee-jerk reaction the next day that we often see in terms of the markets. That's what I was kind of referring to.
Gotcha. I think because of the Musk angle, I think that's if Trump loses, the Musk angle is why you think it's going to go down. I personally think that even if Harris wins, the Biden administration has been really pushing for electrification of vehicles in the United States, pushing out the grid electrification so we can be able to charge these things. I think that's electric vehicles are very much a Democrat movement. They're trying to push that. So I would think that regardless of, I think Elon was very strategic in positioning himself or aligning himself with Trump so that if Kamala loses, he's on the safer side there with in that camp. Yeah. But if Kamala wins, then he still his company still does well because that side of politics is pushing for electrification of the U.S.
Where does this go?
No, hit David Lynn's there. I don't know if that was you. I'll do it. Nope. David, spot on here. If Elon is in the cabinet, won't that take away from Tesla? Well, this is a good point here. I don't think so. I've seen this being kind of kicked around too. I don't think so. I think that whatever cabinet position, if Elon does get moved to the cabinet, he's going to focus. I think that government efficiency is one of the things, but I don't think this is a net negative for Tesla. I actually think this is going to be a net positive for Tesla because it'll be that company that gets some of the earliest benefits. That's the way I would look at it. I know Tesla often trades on Elon, and if Elon's busy with something else, your point is well made there. But I got to think that this is going to end up benefiting the company more in that regard. Real quickly here, Zunaid, let me just kind of take this back over. I do want to answer one question here. This is not something that we have actually talked about yet today, but let's just go ahead and do it here. Voodoo's asking, has there been any market response to Netflix offices being raided due to tax fraud issues? Earlier this morning, 5:34 in the morning, Reuters reported France's PNF financial prosecutor body has carried out searches today at Netflix France, Amsterdam, citing judicial sources. Is this what you're referring to, Voodoo? I would imagine it is. Looks like Netflix higher by about 1% on the back of that news. So I don't really think there's any market response here, but Just to kind of put a button on that, Netflix higher here by just about 1%.
Interesting. I like it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a non-factor here for the Netflix price.
And hamster wheel, that's a great point, and that's something that we've our happy hour group has always been concerned with ever since he went over to China to try to expand his relationship over there. I think that was just awful decision making. I understand that China's a huge market for them, but the amount of control that the CCP wants to have over his company is just too concerning. It's absolutely ridiculous what they're trying to get out of him. So, and I feel like there's a lot of technology theft happening over there with his products as well.
Big of bees here. Elon, best example of a guy that has 12 jobs looking for his 13th. This is really well said. And that's kind of goes back into my thought earlier. If he does get a cabinet position or something like that, is it really going to negatively affect Tesla? I don't know. I don't think so. Now sorry, really quickly here. This question, if Trump is elected, can he continue to hold his DJT shares? I don't know the answer to this. I actually saw somebody asking this the other day, because I believe Trump's net worth is tied to the paper price of DJT, right? It's an unrealized gain that he has a majority of his wealth tied up in. Does he actually have to liquidate that? Does he have to sell? I don't have an answer that I trust on that, David.
Or transfer the ownership, perhaps. Something.
That's what I was going to say. There's probably some other loophole here where we can transfer it to a trust or something like that. I would imagine that, and the reason that I'm getting to that is because I would imagine that a Trump victory doesn't necessarily mean a lot of sales of the DJT asset on the open market. I don't think those things are related.
Yeah, that's another way to play it.
He didn't look. This all you got to look at is what he did last time. Did he divest from anything last time? Did he put anything into a blind trust last time? The answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So he's not going to do it this time.
Yeah.
Can he sell his shares? He said he wouldn't, but he can, and I think he will. Not right away. It might be a year or two down the line, maybe.
I'm hoping that DJT remains in a place where it's still a decent trade for us, because I feel like we come in every day, we take a look at DJT levels, and a lot of the days it gives us movement for us to capitalize on. I hope that doesn't get lost here. We've covered it a lot, ad nauseum, how it's not, the fundamentals don't really seem to make sense, et cetera, et cetera. I just want there to be a good trade in action on that stock. It's been good recently.
Was getting a mention from Smoke Tuna a little bit ago about GoGo. This moved back over its VWAP, trying to push up into the higher into the 8 handle, looking for 9. Meta could not break out.
Apple really kind of rolled over here from that.
Couldn't get the volume. All the Mag 7s are.
Yeah.
All the Mag 7s were looking like they were going to break out. They're all coming back in now.
Netflix, interestingly, the strongest, despite having its offices raided. I like this, VJ. I like this comment a lot. Elon Musk is a multitasking magician. Musk, multitasking magician. The alliteration there is just awesome. And I think that's a factual statement. Really incredible. Juggling electric cars, rockets, and political dramas like it's a casual day. Better him than me.
Google, let's see.
Yeah. Wasn't Elon Musk like playing Diablo 4 while he was?
I couldn't believe. So I watched that podcast. Last night. The biggest takeaways for me, and just to be clear, the only reason these are the biggest takeaways is because I'm a mega nerd. Okay, I know my role. He was one of the top Diablo players and Quake players in the entire world. Elon Musk.
Quake.
From back in the day. I know.
I was about to say, isn't that like an old game?
That was, but that was like, that was before he had all these businesses and all these
Quake 3, I think. So
Diablo 4
that was in the
Diablo 4 is a pay to win, so I'm not surprised he's doing well at that.
Is Palantir? Okay, so sorry, I'm just looking at a couple of different stocks here before I go.
Talk about Palantir, yes.
So I wanted to, again, it's been a busy morning, and I wanted to kind of trade this at 50, and I was looking at the 5 minutes to give myself a kudos that, oh yeah, that trade would have worked out. It's like you shorted for $1 or so, but unfortunately it only went down like less than $1. But now that it's above 50, I would have liked to get in here at 10:30, but now it's kind of making all. Is this all-time highs? It looks like it's all-time highs.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Look at that cup.
Yeah.
Well, that's a scallop now.
Okay, fair enough. But look at that formation there.
And then you've also got, well, so keep an eye on this one. Obviously, if it continues to make all-time highs, great. But eventually, perhaps, maybe, we also may see it fill the gap as well. So that's something to just kind of keep in mind. But what I would do is tomorrow, depending on where this finishes, see if it goes red to green, right? So if we finish at, I don't know, call it 52, 51, whatever the case may be, then tomorrow, if it kind of goes red to green, this would be a trade that I would put on for tomorrow to keep an eye on as well. I don't know if there are any impacts that Palantir can face based on the election and where things seem. I don't expect for us to get an answer tonight, but I do like Palantir for tomorrow. It would be on my watch list if I was trading in the morning.
Diego is asking, why did Netflix get their offices raided? Diego, I actually hadn't read into this. Voodoo was telling us earlier that it was a tax fraud issue, but I don't have any more details to give you. That is something that I'm looking for.
Yeah, they raided offices in Paris and Amsterdam. Must be some European issue with their taxes.
Where's Robinhood?
Real quickly here, Craig saying Diablo 4 is not pay to win. I actually haven't played Diablo 4, but let me tell you something. This comment right here from Amanda about loving Diablo, dude, you have any idea how many hours I lost to Diablo 2? And I wouldn't even say lost. I would say I enjoyed that thoroughly. I mean, I started with Diablo 1. I played so much Diablo 2, makes my head spin. Shout out to Diablo 3.
Sweet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bounce. I know you've got Anne-Marie coming up. Oh, yeah, wait. Yeah, you do your intro. Can I ask her my question?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen her join yet, but yes, if she is here, yes. If not, I might have to try to convince that. Never mind.
Look at that.
There we go.
Look at that. There we go. Why you got to convince her to talk to me?
No, not her. I was going to say 13 to give up his steps and maybe hang around, but it looks like we don't have to do that. 3 years of tax fraud issues re-Netflix all over in Europe, excuse me.
So, Craig, you can't microtransact power-ups or skips of any kind, because that's not what my understanding is. If you can pay to change your level or to power up in any way, that's pay to win.
Real quickly here, Amanda's saying 2 was the best. I collected and crafted all the gems and
everybody agrees.
Oh man,
everybody agrees Diablo 2 is the best one.
Yeah, Diablo 2 is the best one. We have James in here really kind of busting out the nostalgia. D2 how Meph runs all day. I did Pindle skin because he dropped every item in the game. I got like multiple perfect win forces from Pindle skin, but we won't get into that. Those runes though, dude, what was the one that made it indestructible? So if you had the ethereal socketed, okay, we're really boring people with the video game nonsense.
Anne-Marie almost left the room.
I know, and we can't do that because we have to have your question get answered.
Yes.
13, really good stuff here this morning. Any closing words for the group here?
Oh, it's great to see everybody again. We're going to be coming back at you tomorrow. Don't lose any of the money you made today, so go vote, and we'll see you on the other side of the election.
Yep, absolutely. And as 13 said, appreciate everyone sticking around here. We are going to be adding some different value adds here. So stick around. 13, I will see you later today and tomorrow. Have a good one, boss. 13's absence leaves room for the one and only Anne-Marie. Let's go ahead and bring her on. Anne-Marie, happy election day. I hope you've gotten a chance to vote already today.
I early voted.
Even better. So you're avoiding all of the nonsense.
Yes.
I was there at 6:05. And I will say this, in my area, there were other people lined up outside the polling place. So big shouts to all those people out there getting out there and voting early. Anne-Marie, before we officially get started here, Zunaid has a question that he would like to ask you.
Well, it's a trade related question. So yeah, I was hoping we could get rocking and rolling, but I want to know if someone wants to
You're going to get us rocking and rolling. Come on.
Okay,
Zunaid,
cool. All right, cool. All right. The branding didn't change. I didn't know. Okay. So here's a question, Anne-Marie. I want to find a way to play Tesla based on the election, right? So if someone believes that either if, Trump will win, do they go long Tesla in terms of a spread? Because here's an actual trade that I did put on. I went ahead and bought the 250 puts expiring next week, just in case it takes a while for us to figure out who won. And I sold, shout out to you, the 240 puts. So I paid about maybe call it $4 or so. And I just wanted to know if I wanted to bet on the downside of Tesla because of what I believe the results will be, is that the best way to do it? Or would you have another suggestion? I don't know, putting you on the spot.
So
I'll put up Tesla's chart just in case.
A couple of things go into that, right? So the first thing would be how much is juiced into the options that you've purchased, right? So we got to think about that. And what is the expiration date on those options?
Next week, just in case we don't get a winner.
Okay.
Today. I mean, this week.
Well, we'll get a winner, but everybody's going to fight about who it actually is for a bit, is my thought. So the vol is really high going into that space. It's really, really high. So the question might be, what do you think the trader who is looking at Tesla is going to say, depending on one or another? So if Trump wins and Elon Musk has whatever, you're thinking Tesla dives.
No, I think if Trump wins, I think Tesla goes up, just because the thought process that I have as a trader, and I'm hoping others may as well, is, okay, Trump won, Elon was supporting Trump, therefore Tesla will benefit for the next 4 years. That way that the market goes higher on Tesla. And for the same reason, the reverse, to where people may perceive, I don't believe it's true, but just a quick knee-jerk reaction may be, okay, Elon was supporting Trump, Trump lost, Harris is in office, will there be backlash, blah, 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 and we may see some downside. Again, total speculation. I'm not saying that's the way to work, but that's my reasoning. That's my thought process. Kind of like how people would trade DJT, to the upside if they believe Trump was winning or losing. I just wanted to play it through Tesla. But that's all.
I'm going to have to punt here.
No worries.
And I'm going to say, listen, if it were me thinking about this, because vol is spiked so high, and vol has traditionally been lower, I would go out to the wings and I would sell an iron condor, which is actually what I have. I've sold the December 270, 275s and the December 180, 175s. Now, if you're thinking something bananas is going to happen, the question is, how do you determine what that big number is going to be?
Yeah, especially with volatility, you're right. Because are you going to get the movement that I need? Which is why I sold at 240 as well. Just because I was like, this is expensive. I think I paid like 10 something to just purchase a 250 puts expiring next week. And so it was quite expensive, which is why I went ahead and sold it. But
So I like what you're saying. I think it's tight. What you have is a little bit tight, but here's the thing. Volatility is going to make things so crazy that even if you're printing the right market, if you don't send it in at limit over the next 3 days, you're going to get taken to the woodshed.
Well, keep me posted. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your insights, Ryan. Thank you for letting me have a few minutes.
Of course.
And I will be watching in the back, and I will report back whenever this trade plays out, however it plays out, just to see how things go. I appreciate your insights. Thank you so much.
And we're always looking for more input, Zunaid. So I know things are kind of in flux here. You are welcome anytime, any day. Yeah, just come on in.
I appreciate it.
Talk about trades, ideas. Bring it on, man. We got this.
I love it. Appreciate you both. Yes.
My bucket knowledge of video games could always get bigger.
Oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through that, but Diablo is a good place to start.
I'm happy.
I'm out. See you guys later.
See ya.
Oh, that's embarrassing and awesome at the same time. I'll go ahead and put my screen up here, Zunaid. You're good to go.
Let me get my screen.
Anne-Marie,
Yes.
I was going to say, while you're getting your screen loaded here, I know you're not much of a victory lap person, but let me tell you something. you sure earned your damn victory lap on Palantir, because we have been talking about that trade for a long time. They reported earnings today, 50 prints. The body of that butterfly with the December expiry was 45. I actually legged out some of it prior to earnings yesterday, and then the rest of it at plus 100% here today. Just an absolute monster trade. Take a bow. That was phenomenal.
It was very nice. It was very nice. It continues to rise. I am wondering if people are trying to short it. So it's squeezing pretty high, and the CEO there is just as charismatic as NVIDIA's CEO. He's quite a charismatic guy.
And one more thing regarding, because this is a really good point that you bring up there. He has absolutely no fear. He will show up on a CNN interview and he will put the shorts dead in the crosshairs and go at them. He really dislikes short sellers, not afraid to give his opinion. So about that whole squeezing thing, there might be a little bit more juice on there too.
Yeah.
Anyway, great job. I can't thank you enough for giving that out to our community here. What do you have for us next?
Well, what the big thing to look at right now is what is our backdrop under the next 24 to 48 hours. And so the only thing we know is that it's going to be noisy, right? It's going to be noisy. But here's the super interesting thing. This is the volatility of the volatility, the VVIX. It's been falling all day. All day. The VIX, the tradable VIX, also falling all day. And so we've got this very big move to the upside that's either short covering or pressing, right? They're either intraday trading on the press, moving it to the upside. So we don't quite know how the market is actually positioning itself overall, because this is intraday noise. Suffice to say, volatility is fading, price action is still holding higher, so things look really good. The key thing I mentioned, we were talking about it with Zunaid a moment ago. If we're sitting in non-liquid stocks, the first thing, or non-liquid options, the first thing to realize is getting out of those trades. You got to put a limit order out there or you're going to get creamed. And so if we're thinking about trades, we want to stay very big in terms of companies. We want to stay very big, and we want to stay in very liquid spaces. So that's the first thing. In terms of where price action is going, in full transparency, I said to myself today, you know what? I am not pulling the trigger on anything except to close a position, which I did at Palantir for that butterfly formation. And that stinker is still going up. So, but it was a great game. So the question now is, if we see inflows into these guys right here, the big bucks kind of fellas, I just saw inflows from there. It might be good to watch those things on the horizon. One thing I did think about was having a peek at MicroStrategy, simply because...
Perfect. Because we got asked about this, or you have no idea how perfect this is. We got asked about this earlier, and we both kind of want to trade it, but at the same time, we're really kind of nervous about some of the news that's going on there. So having an options trade where your risk is defined ahead of time is the way to do this. Really excited to kind of go into this one.
Absolutely. So MicroStrategy, as many of us know, trades in tandem with Bitcoin. And because they have so much Bitcoin on their books. But notice this, I drew this box. I believe I drew it here on August the 8th. This box right here. And I duplicated it because it's a breakout formation. And look at where it's rotated from. Right at the top of the breakout box.
It's almost like it had a blow off top at the top of that box and then came right back into the range. Bingo.
Exactly. And so now we have old resistance, new support, but we're in a thin part of the profile. So let me take a quick peek at what 180 days might look like. All right, still very thin, but there's opportunity here. So let's have a look at the chains. All right, let's look at what is the ATR. Oh, sorry, that's for a 4 hour. I was like, what? What's the ATR? 17. And they just reported they lost money. And yeah, they've lost money here and there, right? They've lost money a few quarters. So a little bit of a messy patch for these guys. So I think we can go wide if we go far. Okay, so the next earnings event for them is not until February. And so let's take a peek at what MicroStrategy might do. Oh, look, she's got butterflies set up here. When did I take these? Whoa, should have taken that one. All right. So we are sitting at 260 to 280 to 300. These are 20 wide and these are 10 wide. So let's take a peek and see if, yeah, that trend is, if we went out wide and we said, all right, let's try the 150s and then the 300s. Okay, if we did December and we said, instead of 260, let's change the body of these. Right, and again, we're going to go out really wide so that we can do a 1 by 3 by 2. And so we're going to go 1 at the 300. We're going to go 3 at the 320s. And we're going to go 2 at the 330s. And it's going to cost us 80 cents. Now, what that is something that says, listen, if this blows out, look, market makers are calling for, what are they? 1.5 times the size of the average true range. So they've got a lot of vol pumped in to these options. And so this $75 one gives us $2,000 of upside. No downside except the $75 because we have no risk, right? It's a risk. It's a trade that's risked debit only. So that's the call side. And what we're doing is we're going round and about, okay, let's see what these guys are actually. 60, almost $70. So this is our strike. $70 away. This is what the market makers have put into it. This is what we're saying. If the market makers are right, it's not going to get there, and we have that $75 at risk. Ooh, bump it up already. Okay, now let's take a look at the downside. Where might this go? So I think 150 is pretty far away. And so maybe we try 170 to 150 to 160. Again, 1 by 3 by 2. 170 to 150 to 140. Okay, that one's 98 cents.
There you go.
Okay, and it's a bit closer. Well, not that much closer, really. But it is setting us right in that framework. And this might really, where I believe that Bitcoin, gold, and some of the other commodities are the things that are going to get monstrously volatile in the next couple of days. That's just my gut feeling from that perspective. Okay. So I like this from MicroStrategy. If you say to yourself, Anne-Marie, I don't want to do this. Give me something else. The next best thing, because vol is so high, is an iron condor. And so let's see how much it'll give us underneath the 330. Let's go to 340 to 350. And then let's go to maybe 155 to 145. Okay, so I like to get at least 20% of the range, and that's what we have. So it's 237. Now you could do both of these, and both of them could win. Reason being is if it comes all the way to here but doesn't break, you're in great shape.
Yeah.
If it comes to here and it doesn't break, great shape. And so this actually gives us the money we need to pay for these, but it does require $1,000 of margin for each one. Now, let's see if January gives you a little bit more. But again,
for
you never
same
know.
Margin requirement, a little bit more. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Yes, a little bit more for the margin requirement, which is always nice. So I like those. I like those. The fact that they're rising in price when we speak, for me, under vol days like this, I would say, you know what? It'd be really nice if I got this, but if I didn't, it'd be okay. So I'm going to put a limit order out. It's got a ton of volume. I'm going to put a limit order out, and I'm going to see if I can get it 10 cents cheaper, 30 cents cheaper. I try to get the put side 30 cents cheaper. I try to get the call side maybe 10 cents cheaper, right? So your total outlay is $200. Maximum target is $2,000 less the $200 you paid. And if you've got yourself an iron condor out there in the wings, you know, that's going to take care of the premium that you spent.
Okay. Well, yeah. I like that trade quite a bit here on MicroStrategy. And like I said, this is a tough one to trade. It's often spready. The options are crazy. So setting up a trade like this, love it. Absolutely love it.
I do.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, did you have any more on your list? We can always ask the chat here if there's any stuff. We got time for another one here. So chat, if you guys want another stock for us to set up a trade up here, let us know. Anne-Marie, I don't know if you had another one planned here or what. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I could, but I feel today, I just got to tell you, maybe it's because I got the election wiggles. I just am like, I'm just going to watch. And so my brain's been a little bit wary of any kinds of motions that I'm seeing. My thought is always, let's stick with the big guys. And, so here we are with this. We did the Iron Condor together when we were together on Friday for Amazon. So that still looks good. But anything the folks are going to
Hog got mentioned here. Now we might run into the low volume on the chain, but Hog here was a suggestion from the group.
Yeah, Hog is a no fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
fly.
Sorry, Quantum, just not enough volume in there to really kind of set some of those up.
But that is a nice support zone. Here's the rub. It's a support zone in an area that has currently gone high, lower high, lower high. And so if it's bouncing off of this range and giving you another lower high, two things could happen. It could bounce very nicely here at this 31 area, or it could fall all the way down to 25. So if you're saying to yourself, hey, I want a quick trade, you need to wait for a couple of days to see this stabilize, and then, you know, it could head right back into 36. It's pretty volatile stock over the weeks, right? I mean, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. So it's a pretty nice stock to trade if you're just looking for income. But wow, very, very sideways.
Yeah. Now, another one here that Quantum suggested was Dollar Tree, ticker DLTR, and then Tom suggested Dell, who has earnings November 26th. So I'm wondering if we could probably get a trade out of one of those two here based on the option volume.
All right, let's have a peek. We'll look at Dollar first. I think Dell probably is going to be the better one. Let's see. Oh, do we have something here on Dell? Look at that. November 26th. Did you say?
Yes, the earnings, excuse me. Yes, November 26th. And actually, I'm going off Tom. Tom's a sharp guy, but I suppose if I'm going to tell you with certainty, I ought to check myself, huh?
I am showing 11/26 also.
Yep. Like I said, Tom's a sharp guy, so I was confident with
that.
Good
on you, Tom. Getting some street cred there. Accolades from Ryan is always nice. Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. Remember, unless these guys have blown it out of the water and surprised everybody, or fallen out of bed, option buyers have been destroyed. Okay. Now that's the first thing. Secondly, we're looking at something that is, 15, 18 days away. And so there's a lot of premium flexibility sitting around in there. My thought would be, if you're looking at something, let's take a peek. The edges are going to be supremely important here. ATR is about 10. And what has it done? It's bounced up and down and up and down and then up. Okay, fairly sideways. So let's see what they're pricing in. They're saying $5, which is not true. 1026. Sorry, I'll be hurried. My mouse decided to stop working. What? Okay, forgive me. So if we look at the 29th, let's say you're ready to just sling it. And you say, all right, I'm going here. Then what are they? Wow. They are pricing in $18 of motion. So if we go out to, we'd have 18 to 13, and then 2x, that would be 30. So it'd be 60. 65. So we definitely are getting a bit of credit, but that's the iron condor for this earning space. If you decided, hey, 155, maybe I could do better. Let's try the 6th. It's $2.24. And so you almost are getting 50% of the range. And what this is doing is saying, all right, market makers are going to, they charge us $18. We're going out 30, right? Okay. Oh, that wouldn't be 30. I need to change that. Maybe that's why. Okay, so let's go to 15 and then 10. So that's 20. Right? That's 142. That's certainly something that you can do. Here's the thing, because we have time, you could put this trade on and just sit tight for a little bit. You could have that 118 sitting there, right? And say, hey, I'm going to use 118 and I'm going to let this leak for a couple of weeks. And then I'm going to put on the butterfly the night of or the day before. And that is really, that's the space that we see things moving, right? It's the reason that we were able to pick up on the Tesla strangle, because it was mispriced a couple of days before, totally out of whack. And so that's why that one went so well. This might end up being the same thing.
Okay. And then real quick, I know we didn't cover Dollar Tree because we went with Dell here instead. Quantum, I appreciate you kind of rephrasing your question here. Quantum is saying, I was thinking about selling put spreads on Dollar Tree for November 15th, 60-55s.
I like it. 60 is the low.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I like it. I do. I like it a lot. I think it's bold, but you know, fortune favors the bold. So
you got that right.
I don't even know who said that, but I like it.
So, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because fortune favors the brave. I believe that was from the Matt Damon commercial for that Bitcoin thing that went up. But the commercial was actually pretty sweet. He had a nice little sweet black shirt on there. Anyway, okay. Anne-Marie, really, really great stuff here. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on this busy election day. I'm with you. I kind of want to just, I want to get all my T's crossed and I's dotted and just kind of watch and see what happens here. I will say I have a tremendous sense of relief from going really early and knowing that I'm not going to be somebody that has to fight lines and possibly other people out there.
I know, right?
So I feel pretty good that it's over already.
I've been voting by mail for the last every 2 years also, right? So I've been voting by mail for the last, I don't know, 8-10 years.
So you're a seasoned vet with the mail by voting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Really, really good stuff here, Anne-Marie. Again, thanks so much. Folks, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking around through all of the change and the chaos. You folks are the real ones. We're going to keep coming back here, trying to find opportunities to make you some money. Aaron, just play it whenever you can. Anne-Marie, take care.
Take care.